Like you're just like, you know, you're being like resigned to like literally hitting toward round one because it's your first tournament ever or something like that. It feels kind of bad. Weird question. Is there a time where a player wouldn't take mulligan cards? Yes. If you could like play out your turn perfectly and no matter what card you would top deck, you wouldn't play it, or would be very unlikely to want to play it, then you could possibly not play it there. Skill-based matchmaking in a regional tournaments? No. What if high elo hits high elo? Then it would maybe be no, but then you'd have to get like rewarded more for. Then it would be like an elo based tournament where like your wins would have to be accrue elo for the tournament or something like that. Oh geez, Tatch the Duskull pass. Another vessel. Hold up, wait, there's more. But it looks like it is just going to be a pass. See, and this is why you go second against Raging Bolt. I know there's an Iono in that hand. I can smell it. All right, there's the pass. And I see Vessel Sada. So game two, here we go. Show him this. Just show the Sada. Okay. Oh my gosh. All right, game two. I am curious to see. Let's see if Jeremy chooses first or second. This matchup has gotten a lot tougher. I could see going first in this matchup now being correct, to be honest, just because of Bravery Charms. Like, you just need... I don't know. You need them to whiff. Like, you need to go first against Raging Bolt. You need them to whiff. Have, like, not as clean of a board state because they chose second instead of first. Also, getting turn one attacked is, like, pretty common. I don't know. This was best of one. Game would be over. Yeah. I remember I had one regional. I don't remember what regional it was, but I lost, like, every game one. In day one. I don't remember how day two went. Oh, it was San Diego regionals with I played Malamar. I literally lost every single game one in day one. And then I went 8-0-1 into day two. Maybe I'm just being biased. Maybe I'm being it's all confirmation bias. All right, Jeremy did choose second here. The bolts are out. The pawn is in. I see a Bravery Charm. No, chill with the Billy. We don't have to Billy here, do we? Well, they definitely should draw with the pawn before they Billy. Oh, wait, I didn't start the prediction. Hold up. All right, we are a match into the a game into the match, but I am going to put the prediction up anyways. We're all working with the same information here. What's my favorite format of all time? I don't have one. The next format. Always the next format. Imagine getting sacked and then whiffing the fist bump. I usually don't track things or remember things like that, but it was something that I realized after the tournament. I was like, wait, I literally, or as the tournament was getting to the end, I was like, I've literally gone second every single, or I've literally lost game one every single match, I feel like, so far. What do you think about the new Badoo that has item lock? It's good. Good card. Do broken. All right, decent start here for... I don't know how to say that. Is it Mauricio? Or Mauricio? I don't know how to pronounce her name. But I think they overextended here. They didn't need to like put the second Ogre Pawn in place. This is what you have to not do in this matchup. Like, the whole point of the Bravery Charms is to make a bunch of big HP Pokemon and limit the outs to the big one hits, the big 2-prize 1-hit KOs. The Bravery Charm on the active Bolt is good, but there's 2 Ogre Pawns, a Squawkabilly, and a Raging Bolt on the bench that all die to Palkias and Ogre. Like, we probably shouldn't have benched that second Ogre Pawn. I didn't really get a great look at Mauricio's hand, but I feel like the second Ogre Pawn probably should not have been benched here. We probably should have avoided that and just tried to go double bolts. Like, the Squawkabilly in general is something we wanted to avoid as well. Now, I don't know if we could have actually avoided the Squawkabilly here. Actually, I'm not sure what the hand was, but it's something we wanted to try and avoid for sure, was the Squawkabilly. If we could have just had a bench of 2 Raging Bolts plus an Ogerpon, that's cooking right there. Like if we just have 2 Raging Bolts and an Ogerpon on the bench, that's it. That's perfect. That's all we want. That's all we ever want. But now there's a lot of liabilities on the bench. So a lot of different options, different ways for Jeremy to get prize cards. Am I confident I'm going to Worlds this year? No. But I also don't care. Like, if I don't go to Worlds, it'll be okay. I'll be all right. Where's Worlds? I don't know. It's in California, but I don't remember which one it is. I think it's San Francisco, and then next year is Anaheim, or it's Anaheim and then San Francisco. You think TT will be reprinted? I don't worry about what ifs. I only worry about what is. Worlds watch party will be crazy. I mean, I'll definitely be at Worlds. Honestly, it'd be cool to be able to do like a live Worlds watch party potentially. Why did we attach a water energy to Duskull there? Is that correct? Is it not better on the Palkia? Why does that ever make sense to attach to Duskull there? If our Palkia dies, we can't use our V-Star power anyways. But if our energy's on our Palkia, then we could just attack with Palkia. Why is that energy on the Duskull? That makes no sense. Alright, we're going to the Pokestop here. Those are the Pokemon we're looking for. Palkia and Greninja. We do have a Night Stretcher, though. Wait, check and choose first. Hoping to find second Palkia. That doesn't change anything, though. Why would you attach to a Duskull? Even if you find second Palkia, why would you attach to a Duskull? Like, that doesn't make any sense. It should just be on a Palkia. Yo, the Duskulls kind of came out to play, though. What the heck? Squad's here. Is it just so you can retreat it next turn if they don't take a knockout? But they're always taking a knockout. No, this makes no sense. This attachment here is on that Duskull. I don't think it makes any sense. Maybe it's a Thornton play he's thinking? Nah. Also, it's incorrect because here, ideally, you want to attach to Ursaluna. So if you Ionoed into Ursaluna energy, you'd rather attach to Ursaluna here. Yeah, this is just the energy on the Duskull makes no sense. Especially because like your best attachment turn 1 in this matchup is to Ursaluna. So if we Ionoed into Ursaluna energy, we'd rather attach to Ursaluna for our turn. If we're just getting this, if we're just putting this energy on the Duskull, and our logic is, well, when the Duskull dies with the water energy, I can Palkia it, I can V-Star it to the Palkia. What if you just attach to the Palkia? It doesn't make any sense. All right, here we go. We got a catcher. We're going after a Palkia. Got Tails. Might have to go through the Duskull here. We'll see. They have Sada. We have Sada here. And we have Lighting Energy in the discard pile, I believe, and Fighting. This is what I was talking about. There's a lot of liabilities in play here. Like, Jeremy can just play for, like, a double Dusknoir plus 2 prize knockout, 2 prize knockout line here. Over 2 turns here from Jeremy. I think he was worried you wouldn't have anything to talk about. Okay. Appreciate that then from Jeremy. Helping me out. Pokestop hit here. Just go a little bit further. Finds the Prime Catcher. That's big. That means we will get this first 2 prize knockout. Yeah, if you get only a 1 prize knockout here as Mauricio, then Jeremy can win the prize trade. But this Prime Catcher is huge. Goes after one of the Palkias. Don't know if I like sending up this Raging Ball instead of just retreating to the one with the Bravery Charm. I'm actually not sure I like that for Mauricio. I think I like, unless we have another Bravery Charm to put on the active here, I think I like sending up Ogerpon, retreating Ogerpon back into the Raging Bolt with the Bravery Charm. Because right now, Palkia one-hit KOs this Raging Bolt, which is not something we want to kind of give over to our opponent here. All right, there we go. There's the 4 for the knockout. Yeah, Jeremy with a Palkia, V-Star, plus 2 energy, KOs this Raging Bolt, and then can go into Ursaluna, Punch, plus Iono to go from there. Can pop 1 Dusknoir at some point, but only 1 Dusknoir now. See an Iono in hand. You could pop the Dusclops right now and then Iono lower, to be honest. You could pop Dusclops on the Bravery Charmed Raging Bolt. Covers that Radiant Greninja. I don't mind that. So you could pop Dusclops here. That'd be the only thing to think about. Goes for the Mew for 1 first. And then into the Iono. Okay. Saving the Dusclops for later. Now, if you did pop the Dusclops on the Bravery Charmed Raging Bolt on the bench, it could get switch carded. So that would be like kind of annoying. You could just kind of hope that doesn't happen, I guess. But you are kind of playing around that here. Here comes the concealed cards. Then, yeah, we do have that Palkia Punch into the active here, which does get the KO. And like I was saying about Mauricio's last turn, like imagine if Mauricio just didn't have that second Ogerpon on the bench, which I think we could have avoided. I'm pretty sure we could have avoided that. Find a Prime Catcher here for Jeremy. If we could have avoided that, which I'm pretty sure we could have, here as Mauricio, then this Palkia wouldn't KO the active this turn, which would be a pretty big deal. It would either have to force out the Dusclops, which means that can't be used later to get around a potential Bravery Charm, or other plays can't be set up around it. So, you know, it would make things a little bit more awkward. If you were there, what would you have been playing? Probably Lugia. I feel like people still just aren't respecting Lugia enough. I don't know. I guess maybe the question would be like, am I scared of Iron Thorns? But yeah, Lugia honestly maybe would have been fine. The Squawkabilly I'm not sure about on Mauricio's side. I wasn't really able to get a good look at Mauricio's hand before the Squawkabilly got used. So it's possible the Squawkabilly had to happen, to be honest. Just not sure about the second Ogerpon. Definitely did not need to come into play, though. I'm pretty sure. Are Jeremy setting up for a potential Radiant Greninja combo play, which you could do something with? Jeremy could do like Prime Catcher or Counter Catcher up an Ogerpon, and then Iono, and then like, oh no, but you can't Greninja back-to-back turns here. I don't know about that actually. We also maybe just want to hold this Water Energy because it does become fodder for concealed cards and attachments for Ursaluna. Moving into this next turn. All right, there's the knockout. And over to Mauricio. Immediately into the pawn. There's another Raging Bolt. Another pawn. Still has Pokestop to work with as well, I believe. Has Sada in hand now, so 2 Raging Bolts are going to get set up here. So for Mauricio here, all you need to do, knock out the active, and then knock out another 2-prizer next turn, which will probably be that Mew EX at the very least on the bench. We are down Prime Catcher, so we're looking for Boss or Catcher. But Jeremy's only good attacker at this point as well is Ursaluna. So Jeremy doesn't really have a good attacker besides Ursaluna at this point. So Ursaluna's probably going to have to be the choice here from Jeremy, which means can Mauricio just KO the active on the next turn more so than anything, I think is going to be the question. We see Ultra Ball coming in here. Could go get... I was thinking about giving up the catcher. That would let Jeremy hide behind a 1-prizer for a turn if we don't have Gusts. I'm curious to see what Mauricio gets here. We could bench Fezandipity. The problem with benching Fezandipity right now, though, is it gives Jeremy the option to KO Fezandipity. So now on this next turn, Jeremy can go, okay, cool. You don't have Fezandipity in your deck anymore. Your only access to Fezandipity at this point is Night Stretchers instead of all the all the Ball Search cards you possibly could have. So now Mauricio goes bench Fez, use Fez, but now Jeremy can go either punch the active Raging Bolt with Ursaluna, but not knock it out, so then Fez doesn't trigger, or you just go KO the Fez itself, and Iono from there. Here comes the discard. Do have to give up 4 energy here, and still has 3 energy in play. Still has a ton of energy in play. The targeting doesn't really matter at this point anymore anyways. Or the amount of targets that are on Mauricio's bench doesn't matter because of how far you are ahead. But this definitely could have come back to bite Mauricio if Mauricio hadn't found that Prime Catcher on turn 2 for the first 2-prize knockout. If Mauricio had whiffed the Prime Catcher turn 2 for the 2-prize knockout, then all these liabilities being on the bench definitely could have been a big deal. He should have tried to stop there to try and get the Pal Pad back to fill with Sada in case of Iono. Yeah, that's probably a good call. Should have tried to find the Pal Pad there. See, yeah, Mauricio did not use the Pokestop there, right? I feel like if Pheasant... Oh my gosh, I don't even know how you play this, to be honest. I don't even know what the play is here. I think the play here from Jeremy don't want to. The thing is, you don't want to KO the active. I think the play here from Jeremy is pop Dusclops, put 50 damage on the bench Raging Bolt. I'm assuming Jeremy plays Vacuum and still has access to it. I could be wrong on that. And Jeremy, I think, just wants to go Ursaluna punch the active. And then Iono to 1. And then next turn go Vacuum plus Prime Catcher. And then bring up something else and reset your Ursaluna. I think it has to be the play here from Jeremy. And then ideally you'd want to bump the Pokestop here because Pokestop gives a lot of options to Mauricio, but you probably don't have a way to do that. Honestly, this third Duskull being on the bench here from Jeremy is kind of coming back to bite him a little bit. Like we weren't ever in a situation to have used this many Dusknors. It might have been a mistake there from Jeremy to have actually put this many Dusknor things in play. All right, there's the Dusclops. Wait, is there like some other play that I'm missing here? I don't think so, right? Mauricio has 2 prize cards. Yeah, no. Field Blower would be huge here. Field Blower would be insane here. Yeah. Bump the Pokestop and the Bravery Charm. Jeremy might also still need to draw an Iono here. We might not have Iono here yet. All right, Jeremy's cooking. Nope. I don't like this play from... You can't do this. Now, I don't know if Jeremy has... The only thing I don't know is where's Jeremy's Vacuum. If Vacuum is prized or discarded, then you kind of have to do this. That would be the question at this point. But now, the play for Jeremy potentially becomes Ursaluna. KO Pheasantipity. KOing the active with Ursaluna, you always lose. You need to KO the Pheasantipity now here as Jeremy. KO Pheasantipity with Ursaluna plus Iono. KOing the active is never good enough here. Leaving around the Pheasantipity draw while you KO the active is just not good enough. The big question would just be where's the Vacuum here from Jeremy? Because if Jeremy has Vacuum left, then you should never KO or put the damage on the active here. You should always Vacuum it later. We'll see. There's a Night Stretcher or a Dusknor. Looks like just like putting cards in play to put cards in play, which is fine. Has Prime Catcher in hand, but needs to find an Iono. Has another Night Stretcher. We maybe haven't used concealed cards yet. Looks like we haven't. Concealed cards. We probably should have Pokestopped first if there's any other items to hit. We're looking for Iono here at this point. We still have Pheasantipity, I believe. And the Prime Catcher's in hand. I'm not sure about where the Counter Catcher is. We'd rather Counter Catcher this turn. I think we should have probably used Pokestop before we used Radiant Greninja there. I have to imagine we are missing the Iono at this point still. This is like bad sequencing here. It didn't get punished, but we definitely should have used Pokestop before we used Greninja. Because now we drew an Ultra Ball. Now we can play the Ultra Ball, get another card out of the deck that's not Iono, and then maximize our odds of drawing into Iono off of Pheasantipity and Greninja. But then instead we're like doing it like I don't know, a half measure. We're doing it halfway. We're we Greninja'd, and then we're like, and then we Pokestopped, and now we're gonna play the Ultra Ball, and then we're gonna Pheasantipity. But we should just commit to the Pokestop first, for sure. Still need to find that Iono. You just simply use the other Dusknor net right now. Honestly, at this point, maybe you just pack it up, use your Dusknor. All right, here comes the Ultra Ball. I do see so the Vacuum is in there. So that's definitely a pretty big mistake there from Jeremy to have put the damage on the active. Unless Jeremy was always going to KO the Pheasantipity anyways. Which I could see because then it does play around Switch Card if you're always going to KO the Pheasantipity here. I don't hate going after the Pheasantipity every time. But we didn't have to pop the Dusknor yet until we had sequenced our turn a little bit more further, I don't think. Oh no, it allowed us to play the Nest Ball to get the Ursaluna, I guess. Sure. I have to imagine this means... Oh, we got the... Oh, wait, this does mean we can vacuum the Pokestop, though, I guess. Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe this does make more sense here from Jeremy, actually. Because this means we can vacuum the Pokestop. We still need to find the Iono. We still need Iono here. This does mean we can... Okay. Oh, what was that? It doesn't mean we can vacuum the Pokestop, pop Duster on the active, vacuum the Pokestop. Then we do have to chase the Pheasantipity. Chasing Pheasantipity is not something we want to do. We want to punch the active, but boss. Oh, is it a boss? He probably was worried about Pokestopping his last Iono. It doesn't matter. It's still, well, it's still incorrect. Like, the correct thing is still to just Pokestop first, even if you only have one Iono left. He can't pop. I'm talking about the first one that he did pop. All right, Counter Catcher. But do we have the Iono? And the Iono. Okay, we have the full combo here. No, this does make more sense from Jeremy. Pop the Dusknoir, breaks the Bravery Charm. We get to save our Prime Catcher. Our Prime Catcher is on the bottom of the deck here. So all we need from Mauricio is a Fighting Energy or a Lightning Energy. There's no Pokestop in play to work with now, and we're KOing the Pheasantipity with the Ursaluna. Jeremy just needs to draw back into Prime Catcher, and we have game here for Jeremy. All right, over to Mauricio. Sends up the Raging Bolt. Sada, Fighting, Lightning. Cracking Shoes. Kept the card. It better be a pretty good card. Oh, it's a Pokegear. Okay, seems decent. That's funny because Mauricio kept the card and then like stopped playing cards. No Sada. So it has to be a Burst Roar from Mauricio this turn. I wonder if it was ever correct for Mauricio to have sent up the Ogerpon to have the option of Lightning or Frightening. I don't know what's left though. The only card left in hand from Mauricio is Vacuum. It's going to be a Burst Roar. That's it. Why was he thinking so hard after keeping it? That's what I'm saying, yeah. Okay, over to Jeremy. Can Jeremy find the Prime Catcher or switch? Or switch. We haven't seen Jeremy switch yet, I don't think. Jeremy has a ton of cards in hand. She goes into the Heavy Ball, just checks the prize cards. Not going to be very relevant anymore. Doesn't take anything off them as well. Andy. Dusknoir. Doesn't really matter. Vacuum. Does play 2 Vacuum. Okay. Oh. What is that? Okay, there we go. They're also putting they're combining their Lost Zones as well. Mew for 1. Freaking Shoes. The Prime Catcher is still stuck on the bottom of the deck though for Jeremy. That's the problem. The Prime Catcher's on the bottom of the deck. Concealed cards. There's no way to shuffle the deck. Ultra Ball, now we're shuffling the deck. Looks like a 3-card deck remaining. Has Iono. Okay, we have Iono for 2. Did discard a Pokestop on that previous turn. If the switch is left as well, that would be a win con. But there's the Prime Catcher. The Prime reset. And knockout with the Ursaluna. Yeah, so I guess that play did make sense there from Jeremy. I couldn't quite see Jeremy's full hand, but yeah, I guess like I was stressing about like punching the active there and not leaving up a bench space. Well, hang on, is it still better to have? I guess like it's still better to not KO the Pheasantipity, to be honest. Well, no, you don't want to KO the Pheasantipity because you don't want to KO the Pheasantipity because then if Mauricio draws into Night Stretcher, you can Night Stretcher the Pheasantipity back and then draw 3, right? But if Jeremy just punches the active Raging Bolt for 240, then if Mauricio draws a switch card, you can't win next turn. So I feel like Jeremy probably made the correct play there for sure, actually, to be honest. He had 2 Vacs left, so I think punching active was better, but Stretcher was game either way. Oh, that's true. There's 3 energy in play, so Stretcher is still game no matter what, right? No, yeah, no, you're right. You always KO the Pheasantipity because Stretcher wins the game anyways because it just recovers an energy. Because, the Bolt player had 3 energy in play, so Stretcher just wins the game anyways. So the correct play was KO Pheasantipity from Jeremy, plus Overload to play around switch card. So Dusknoir hitting the active Bolt into KO Pheasantipity was definitely the correct play there from Jeremy. Definitely correct. I just kind of thought we needed more on the Raging Bolt side there, but we had 3 energy in play. We had like more than enough stuff. Bench could matter if there was Lum left though. I don't think that's true. I don't know if you're playing around the Lum though. Like what is it? Lum is probably in what, 10% of Raging Bolt decks or less maybe. You probably don't play around the possibility of Lum. We did see Lum in the last Raging Bolt, but not this one so far from Mauricio. I don't think we've seen the Luminian. Yeah, Vac left as well. Or did he only play one? Jeremy had a Vac left. Alright, so it looks like Mauricio did choose second here, just like Jeremy did in the last one. We need Palkia here, though, from Jeremy to have a good turn, too. Squawkabilly got discarded, so if we have a Night Stretcher, we could... But the hand is so good. What did we just get off the Pokestop there? We got Countercatcher Candy? Those are good cards. Squawkabilly away this hand with a Night Stretcher does not sound great, but if we don't have a Palkia, we probably have to do it. We kind of need Palkia. Or, like, okay... I could get the Palkia. Of course, the Palkia can get KO'd turn 1. It is unlikely that, like, the Palkia gets gusted off the bench and knocked out. We'll see what else Jeremy has. I mean, the thing you still want here from Jeremy is ideal. Well, no, actually, when you go first, it matters less, I guess. If you bench Palkia, well, we do have Palkia down. So the play you want here from Jeremy is like Ursaluna attached to Ursaluna. Oh no, that would still be 1 energy short, right? Attaching to Urs wouldn't make a difference here. Attached to Urs. 1, 2, 3. No, I guess in this situation, attaching to Urs doesn't matter. So you just want double Palkia here from Jeremy. You just want double Palkia. And I don't know if we have the Night Stretcher. What's correct, Azul? Going first as Bolt here or second? I would probably choose second. If I'm Palkia, I want to go second. I don't want to go first. You're so much more likely to set up as Palkia when you go second. And I'm scared about setting up. I thought Bolt should always go second. Did they change? It shouldn't always go second. It should sometimes go second. With 2 Vacuum, Palkia Swing is the best. Yeah, Palkia Swing is... Well, the thing is, though, it matters how much Mauricio... I mean, you kind of have to swing with Palkia no matter what. Because Mauricio doesn't need to bench a whole ton of Pokemon. The person who went second the last 2 games won. I don't think it's obviously correct. Obviously wrong. I mean, it could be obviously wrong to some people with more experience, but my current take on this matchup is I just want to go second and set up. I feel like I just don't set up as Palkia in this matchup enough to the point where I can win if I go first. The only difference now is like now that Raging Bolt has... I haven't played Raging Bolt with the Bravery Charm, so I don't know what kind of board stage Raging Bolt can build up by like just going first, cash your Raging Bolt, pass, next turn, attach your Raging Bolt, attack, stuff like that. We did get the Ursaluna attach here early from Jeremy. Oh no, you still want to get the Ursaluna? Yeah. You still want the Ursaluna. You still want the Ursaluna attach early because you can pop your own Dusknoir to get down to 3. That's right. I was like, this doesn't make... You don't need that, but yeah, we have prize manipulation. Once again, I do not... You should not, Mauricio... It's all right, so we did need to bench a second pawn to play the game, but don't just bench it immediately. Triple pawn? This is not good. Our bench is getting wide. Palkia is becoming like a reasonable attacker. No! All right, you definitely should have... I assumed that if we're benching the pawn here as Mauricio, we are benching it because we are going to use it immediately. But then we went to track and choose. But it looks like we are going to use it still. So not a terrible... Oh, we still have Pokestop available here as well from Mauricio. I wonder if we should hit the Pokestop before... We definitely should hit Pokestop before putting too many pawns in play as Mauricio here. I don't like the next pawn bench here, to be honest. I think I would have hit the Pokestop before I bench the third pawn. I'd probably bench the second pawn before I hit the Pokestop. Wait, no, honestly, the more I'm thinking about it, I think I would just hit Pokestop first. I feel like before I did anything on this turn here from Mauricio, I maybe would have just hit the Pokestop. All right, here comes the energy retrieval. We get back a grass. Is this going to be attached grass pass, though? There's the Poke. Oh, we haven't used Pokestop yet. We're going to the Pokestop. Vessel Ultra Ball. There, I think there maybe is a Sada on hand. You want to Ogerpon before Shoes? You want to Ogerpon before Shoes if you have an Ogerpon in play and are definitely going to accelerate energy to it. But you want to Shoes before Ogerpon if you don't have to bench the Ogerpon. We're trying to avoid putting Ogerpon in play here. So Mauricio went bench Ogerpon, use Shoes, but we never want to bench that Ogerpon if we can avoid it. So it should always be use Shoes, see if we can avoid playing the Ogerpon. Putting Ogerpons in play and how many you want in play is matchup dependent. In this matchup, ideally you want 0 Ogerpon in your bench. You usually have to put 1 in play to play the game. And at some point in the game, it's usually correct to have multiple in play, or 1 to multiple in play, so that way you have enough energy in play, so if you get Iono'd, you're fine. But if you could just like live off of Raging Bolts, like 2 Raging Bolts with 2 Bravery Charms, you would prefer to do that. It's just like not likely that that's actually a possibility. But we do have the Sada here from Mauricio. I don't know if we needed that 3rd pawn or not. It looks like everything came together off the Pokestop, but I would probably definitely risk the Pokestop before I started using too many pawns. Like as Mauricio here, I think the sequence I would have done would probably be use pawn, use Pokestop, then debate if we have to, then see if we have to use 2nd pawn, then use 2nd pawn if we have to, then use 3rd pawn if we have to, but try and use as few pawns as possible. Because the more pawns, the worse it gets for Mauricio. Because now here for Jeremy can go pop Dusknoir, put 130 on Ogerpon, push Ursaluna, attach to Ursaluna, vacuum, KO Raging Bolt. Well, that doesn't matter how many pawns we have on the bench actually to do that. That is still a good play, though. But there's more liabilities. Like, if Mauricio had, like, a 1-pawn bench, then the pawn could have, like, a Bravery Charm and get switch carded later. But now we have 3 pawns we have to worry about, like, being liabilities. I guess that wouldn't matter for the Dusknoir math too much, to be honest. All right, Vessel comes out here from Jeremy. Did not push up the Ursaluna, which is what I thought we were going to push up here from Jeremy. Because I thought we'd see pop Dusknoir 130 on bench Ogerpon, punch active with Ursaluna, and possibly knockout if we get a vacuum, which would have been a pretty strong turn. So I'm not sure about that from Jeremy. I would like to have seen the Ursaluna get pushed there, I think, for sure. Definitely would like to have seen the Ursaluna get pushed up. It does require us to have Candy Dusknoir, so if like Jeremy's not confident in getting Candy Dusknoir this turn, but Ursaluna's still going to attack. Oh, wait, am I tripping? 1, 2. Oh, no, they didn't take a 2-prize knockout. You're right. We would need to pop double Dusknoir. Never mind. My bad. In my head, they took 2. In my head, Mauricio drew 2 prize cards, but in reality, it was only 1. So I guess it has to be a Palkia attack here. But we were able to limit our bench to only 3 Pokemon. So this doesn't set up for a 240. But yeah, there's a counter catcher. We do have a counter. See, and if there's 1 less, this is if there was a possibility to have 1 less Ogerpon in play here, the counter catcher can't actually KO this Ogerpon here. But we have 3 Ogerpons on the bench, which means one of our Ogerpons can die. And now Mauricio still might have ended up with 3 Ogerpons on the bench. That is possible, but Mauricio should have played for trying to maximize your other draw potential first before you bench the Ogerpons, is what Mauricio should have played for. But I think attaching to it in case they do KO Palkia seems fine. Yeah, definitely. If there was like the catcher heads from Mauricio. In fact, potentially attaching to, I don't know how many energy in the discard pile, but Jeremy potentially attaching to Ursaluna over attaching to Palkia might have been better. I don't know how many energy are in the discard pile though. Prawn. Pawn squad. So Palkia is going to get this first 2-prize knockout for sure here for Jeremy. And Jeremy's game plan is to win this game in 2 turns. Is to go knock out the active Ogerpon and then go Candy Dusknoir, Candy Dusknoir. Candy Dusknoir, KO Ogerpon, Ursaluna, KO Raging Bolt game. Is the game plan here for Jeremy now. And there's nothing really Mauricio can do about it. Like, the best card Mauricio could have on this next turn is like Iono plus knockout would be like probably the best play, depending on how big Jeremy's hand gets. I don't even think Jeremy's used Pokestop yet either, so still has some more cards to potentially see here. We'll see. To the Pokestop, found the vacuum. Ooh, triple hit. Pretty good. It's pretty good. Pretty good 3. We don't need to play the vacuum yet, I don't think. I think we just hold on to it, because if we vacuum the Bravery Charm now, another one could come down. Also might want to save it for like back-to-back Pokestops uses as well. So it should just be use Palkia Punch. There's the V-Star. We did have 2 energy in there. Oh, did we get the second energy after the Iono, though? I feel like Jeremy maybe should have attached to the Ursaluna, but this is like fine. This is fine. There we go. There's the knockout 2 prize cards. Gets the first 2 prize knockout. All right, over to Mauricio. There's a really big hand there for Jeremy. So like if you have an Iono or you have a Judge, this is like the time to use it. Slytherin could KO Ursh or Fez to at least force a Gust in addition to everything else. I don't know if he plays it though. Oh, that would actually, yeah, the Slytherin guy would actually be good like this turn. Otherwise, you're just gonna get Prime Catcher on the last turn. Any ideas for a day 1 meta? What do you mean? For the day 1 meta for this? An idea of a day one of the day 1 meta? There's a check the pinned comment. Check the pinned comment. The pinned comment has the day 1 meta. All right, Sada coming out from Mauricio. They're talking about like Surging Sparks. I mean, KO Ursaluna here from Mauricio might just be the best play. And then, I mean, but the Palkia is still doing 280 though. Yeah, that's a problem. The Palkia is still doing 280. So that if you, because now we have 4 Pokemon on our bench once again. But if we just had 1 less Ogerpon on our bench here from Mauricio, the Ogerpon last turn wouldn't have died. And then a Raging Bolt this turn maybe wouldn't have died to a Palkia hit. And we could have KO'd the Ursaluna off the bench, which is the big threat to KO Raging Bolts. There's so many Pokemon on Mauricio's bench right now, though. It's just too many liabilities. And that means you're not allowed, that means you're unable to take the full advantage of these, of the Bravery Charms. Like, that's the point of the Bravery Charm build of Raging Bolt, is you play a small bench, you play low liabilities, you minimize liabilities, and you make all of your Pokemon in play have a lot more HP, or any actual liabilities have the extra HP, and then your opponent can't actually like take advantage of the fact that Raging Bolt usually has so many liabilities in play. It minimizes your liabilities. But when you go really wide, you don't have enough Bravery Charms or can't find them fast enough to actually be able to take advantage of that. I think Mauricio was making sure that he hadn't attached for turn yet. Does need to put a Fighting Energy on the active. Oh no, there was one. It was hidden. I thought for sure there was not a Fighting Energy. Doesn't go for the Ursaluna KO, which I think actually doesn't matter though. It's the same thing. Palkia is still doing 240, so KO in the active I guess is fine here. So yeah, kept the hand as well. There was no Iono. I don't know if Mauricio plays the Iono as well. That could be something Mauricio doesn't even play. So Jeremy can just win here. Jeremy could just have game here. It's not even unreasonable for Jeremy to have game here with that huge hand. Candy Dusknoir has a ton of draw power to work with. The Greninja, the Pheasantipity, the Pokestop, potentially an Iono or Irida or Research. We haven't seen Jeremy's other supporter, actually. No hit off the Nest Ball, so no Mew. Mew EX would have been the thing I would have assumed we would have grabbed there. Maybe it's in hand. I guess that's possible. How many Trekking Shoes is best for Palkia in this meta? I like 0 Trekking Shoes in Palkia. Mid card. Could even see like a double Pokestop use here from Jeremy as well. Could go like Pokestop, Vacuum, Pokestop. And once again, Pokestop maybe should be the first thing we utilize here. I'm actually not sure with this sequence. This sequence here, maybe we should use Pheasantipity and Gradient Greninja first, actually. Goes for the Pokestop first. Mills a Dusknoir, which isn't bad. Mills a Vessel, which can be used to thin out the deck of excess water energy and lead to concealed cards if we don't already have access to that. Immediately goes into that Vessel here to get the water energy out of the deck. We don't want to draw into water energy off the concealed cards or the potential... did we already use Pheasantipity? No, we didn't use Pheasantipity yet. Or the potential Pheasantipity draw. 2 waters thinned out. So like I said, Candy Dusknoir, plus Vacuum wins the game. Candy Dusknoir plus Prime Catcher wins the game. Candy Dusknoir plus second Counter Catcher wins the game. A lot of win conditions here for Jeremy. Also, Jeremy could just draw 2 prize cards this turn as well. Jeremy could just knock out the active, and that would also be fine. Or you probably don't want a Prime Catcher here. You probably would want to go Vacuum, I think, if you have the option. Yeah, Jeremy could also just knock out the active Pokemon this turn and still be ahead on the prize exchange. Jeremy's in a pretty good spot. Gets rid of the Pokestop there, so no potential for a double Pokestop. Oh, no, I guess there still could be. Grabs the Dusknoir. I feel like this is lining up for win here from Jeremy. Candy Dusknoir. And then there's the pop on the Dusknoir. Candy Dusknoir pops it again. There's the knockout, gets 2 prize cards. Yeah, Jeremy wouldn't be making this play unless Jeremy has game, so we should be seeing a Vacuum or a Prime Catcher here. There's the Vacuum. Boom, gets rid of that. Retreat, and then Ursaluna KO. Yeah, and that's how this matchup can go if you get the advantage in the prize exchange like Jeremy did. But a lot of it came down to definitely some bad sequencing and like poor like game plan decisions. Like definitely not a really firm understanding of the matchup from Mauricio's side. And then also, like, if you just go behind in the prize trade, though, even if Mauricio had, like, a better understanding of the matchup, especially because Jeremy actually plays the double Vacuum. So you can actually deal with, like, 2 Bravery Charms in a row. You can just win the game as Jeremy by just being ahead in the prize exchange. It is possible. We saw it that game. But Mauricio wouldn't have been able to, or Jeremy wouldn't have gotten that first Ogerpon KO on Mauricio's first Ogerpon for the prize advantage if Mauricio just didn't bench the 3rd Ogerpon, which Mauricio still maybe would have had to have done to have gotten off that turn 1 attack, but definitely sequenced it in a way where the 3 Ogerpon were on the field before we had maximized our card draw. So definitely a mistake there from, yeah. All right, so it looks like Pedro's playing Lugia. Okay, yeah, that was actually kind of a surprise. I would not have expected Pedro to be playing Lugia, but broken deck. I do question why Pedro has a tie, but Pedro went to the dark side. Pedro went to the dub side. That's how you get the wins. Just play the best deck. Best overall deck is Lugia. Play Lugia. And the hand there from Pedro looks pretty good, actually. I don't know if this was a heads or a tails on this Aroma, though. The die on the tail is a tails. But we could get Squawkabilly here. I think there's an Ultra Ball. Like, we could... Well, also, if we just hold the hand, though, the hand is pretty good. But it looks like Pedro is going for the Squawkabilly. I think we can get double chops in the discard pile. What was it? Windows Control T? That work? Did work, okay. Which Windows do you use? I use Windows 10. Yeah, Windows 10. Mostly because it won't let me upgrade to Windows. I don't know why. It won't let me upgrade to Windows 11. But I'm also fine with it because I've heard like mid things about Windows 11, to be honest. All right. Bench is the Ursaluna, so aggressive Ursaluna bench here, and then there's the Squawkabilly. Only getting rid of 1 chops and Jack. The Ursaluna bench here. Oh no, it is 2 chops. We did play an Ultra Ball there. We got the Minchino. I'm not sure how I feel about that from Pedro there. The Ursaluna doesn't seem necessary. I don't know how I feel about the Ursaluna. We haven't attached return yet here from Pedro. Has plenty of energy in hand. Also has the Lugia V-Star. Catching active seems pretty decent to me. Goes with that. Does have Boss and Lugia V-Star in hand. I doubt Murillo here plays Collapsed, so it's not like that's not like something we have to worry about here. There's a Drago to the bench, attach, thinking about benching Fezandipity, and we'll see if there's an Iono or a research for the supporter. There is the research here, so yeah, Pedro's probably pretty happy about that. The hand there for Pedro is pretty good. Takes a quick look at what was discarded. Pretty good spot here for Pedro. Here comes an S-Ball from Murillo. I don't even know what we're getting here. I guess Ogerpon. We do need to find some Ogerpon types of Ogerpons. What's the point of discarding your hand as a stack for research instead of just fanning it out? I feel like there's no good justification. I mean, if it's like in a stack, like the idea is there really isn't really any good justification, to be honest. Like the only thought process you could apply is like, well, if my opponent doesn't pick up my hand and look at it, if I drop it in a stack or if I immediately drop it into my discard pile, then they'll miss out on information. But if you're playing up like against a decent player, like they're always going to pick up your research after you play it. So like, I don't know. There really isn't like I agree. There's no good justification, but that is like the thought process, I'm sure, most of the time. It literally just is, well, if my opponent doesn't pick up the 5-card hand that I just discarded with research, then they won't know what resources I've discarded. If I fan it out, then I give them the information willingly, but they can always, you're not like withholding the information from them by doing it like that. Yeah, you're not withholding information from your opponent by like you're putting your hand in a 1-card stack and dropping it in your discard pile. You're not withholding the information from them, but you are making your opponent have to go work for it. So it's like one of those like min-maxing things. Like, I don't know. You're from Pedro. I actually don't know if I want to see Pedro. Pedro could boss KO the bench Drago, but I feel like maybe we should just save the boss here as Pedro, to be honest. Just so we can just continue to gust 2 prizers off the bench. Yeah, I feel like Pedro should just save the boss and keep the boss around for next turn. To me, it's like always more sus because they can think that if they don't actively reveal the information, it's easier to palm a card that your opponent has not kept track of. Oh, I've never gone like that far down the... I've never gone that far down the logic route there. Yeah, and we could see the Iono here from Pedro. Just reset the hand. I like this a little bit more. There's only one boss in the hand. We want to find outs to multiple boss. So I like the discard here from Pedro. Yeah, I've never thought about it that route, to be honest, Davidson. But I guess that's like a thought as well, to be honest. Saving boss seems good. Yeah, saving it for sure. I guess like the Iono is fine as well. We just want to find more outs to more bosses here from Pedro. Like we had one boss in that hand. Honestly, though, having just one boss, that's all we want on this next turn from Pedro is probably just another boss. But I guess this gives us the out of boss or Chinchino, depending on how this turn goes for Murillo. Like, if Murillo gets, like, Sinnoh knockout active, and we don't have an out to a rat in hand, we could be in trouble. So I guess, like, probably playing the Iono here from Pedro just makes sense. I would go for boss KO Fez. Boss KO in the Fez there is pretty mid. If you're going to boss KO anything there, you probably want to KO the Drago that has the fire energy. Or even maybe there's an argument for the Ogerpon with the grass, to be honest. KO in the Fez is kind of mid. It depends how many like recovery cards Murillo has played, because it wouldn't be like super hard for Murillo to instantly just recover the Fezandipity and get access to it again. Another thing with KOing the Dragos versus something like the Fezandipity is you want to KO the things that can get more HP. That's probably why you would always want to go for the Drago with the fire. If you KO the Fezandipity and then both Drago Vs become V-Stars, then there's only one more thing that Lugia and Ursaluna can KO, which is the Ogerpon. So then if Murillo deals with your Chinchino, you have to 2-hit something or use Weirdeer. So that becomes harder to maximize your value from. But if you just leave Fezandipity in play, it's always just sitting there as a 2-prize Pokemon that can die to Ursaluna or Lugia as the game progresses. which we're not at this point from Pedro. Pedro really isn't concerned with preventing the opponent from doing anything. Pedro just wins the game here if Pedro draws 2 prize cards every single turn. So that's all Pedro really needs to be concerned with. There is the... Oh, it's a Goodra. Okay, hold up. The Goodra's kind of spicy. But see here, because Pedro has two prize Pokemon to chase, Pedro can just go boss, win. Or Pedro could go boss this turn, and then next turn the rat could be big enough to take a knockout. I don't know if the rat can't get big enough this turn, right? 5 energy rat's not enough. Into the Goodra attack. So Pedro will have to wait a turn. Wait. No, Pedro will have to wait a turn for the rat to be big enough. So if you have Luminion in hand here as Pedro. So you can just go boss, KO, Fez, or Ogerpon. I'm not sure which one is better here to KO. Load up more energy on your rat. Like Pedro can just put 5 energy on the rat this turn. That looks like the Raikou in the hand there. So Pedro's playing the Raikou. I wonder if Pedro's playing the basic lightning. We saw Yurko playing Water Pawn and no basic lightning. At what tournament was it recently that Yurko played that at? Yurko played no basic lightning and Raikou and Water Pawn at an event recently. I'm curious to see what Pedro's lineup is. I haven't seen the Water Pawn yet. My guess would probably be no Water Pawn from Pedro. Louisville. Was it Louisville? Might have been Louisville, yeah. We are stacking the rat, which seems good. It does seem good to stack the rat here. And then has Luminion for boss if there's not a boss in the hand. There's a lot of cards in this hand. Here comes Luminion. On this next turn, Murillo will be able to play around, triggering gift energy once again. We could see Murillo go for... Ooh. We could see Murillo go for like a back-to-back Kyurem play here coming up. We'll see what Pedro KOs here. What Murillo could do would be like, there's no Chinchino in play. Murillo could go like Iono and then use Kyurem and go Kyurem 110 on Squawkabilly, Luminion, Archeops, and then do it again the next turn. And like, don't even open up a bench space. Well, I guess if you KO the Minchino, that would give up the option of... If you KO the Minchino here, that would give up the option of the gift energy. You draw with gift. You could find like Sinnoh, I guess, and then also KO the Minchino. That'd be fine. Yeah, I feel like here from Murillo, we want to see... I like the Kyurem line. I think. We still have our V-Star power. So if we can just go Kyurem this turn, Iono down to 2, Iono Pedro to 2, Kyurem, that seems pretty good. Now, is that possible? I don't know. We do see Murillo pushed up the Ogerpon here, which does give us a little bit of flexibility here in our options. Now we could retreat to the Radzard, or we could retreat to the Drago and go for that play still. So we have some flexibility here. There's the Iono. I don't know where the Kyurem is, though. I'm not sure where the Kyurem's at. The thing is, if Murillo attacks with Radzard this turn, Murillo's not winning in 2 turns. Murillo's winning in more than 2 turns, which is not good. Like, you're winning in 3 turns, which gives Pedro like time to like have a gift energy trigger, and then the gift energy will lead to the win. Comes a vessel from Murillo. It looks like gets rid of a... it looks like Dragapult. I can't tell for sure. No grass energy found off this vessel, so no draw power coming in from Ogerpon unless there's an energy in the hand. Kyurem should be in the discard pile. Is it in the discard pile at this point? I do see a grass in the hand there. Okay, so we still have a little bit of draw power to work with here. And we still have Legacy Star to work with as well here for Murillo. Fire to the right. It looks like Radzard's being lined up to attack with. This doesn't KO the Lugia, though. It just punches it for 250. V-Star's being used? What are we possibly ever looking for here? Maybe the discarding of the Kyurem. There's the Kyurem. Okay, we did get it to the discard pile. We also found Temple of Sinnoh. Okay, maybe Murillo can go for Kyurem here. We can recover an E-Switch. Is eyeing up Pheasantipity? Maybe we need more than what we currently have. Goes for the boss. We do have an E-Switch in hand as well. Murillo seems pretty close to the Kiram play. Honestly, Murillo had the play. If Murillo just didn't push up Ogerpon, Murillo had the Kiram play. Here's the retreat into the Drago. Did get Temple of Sinnoh, so can KO the active here. But if we're just going for a Tina knockout, Pedro has 2 turns. That's the problem with this play. This is the problem with this play from Murillo, is this gives Pedro 2 turns. If you don't cure him, then you give Pedro 2 turns, which is the problem here. Also owns both energy off the bench. Now, all Pedro needs is a boss or a Chinchino. Pedro has a lot of outs to win the game here. Pedro's not playing super aggressively, so I feel like Pedro probably doesn't have boss or Chinchino in hand. The top deck is a Lugia. There's a Lugia V and a V-Star. Uh-oh. Is Pedro in trouble? Murillo can get to the Radzard next turn as well, but you'd have to hard retreat the active. So from Pedro here, you're probably punching with Ursaluna. You probably just have to punch the active with Ursaluna. I don't really see another play. You could bench... Oh, is that a Carmine in the hand? It is a Carmine. Okay, hold on. Oh, what? Yeah, well, Pedro's out here stressing, sitting on a Carmine, and you definitely want to leave your bench space open. And there's Ultra Ball. Yeah, you definitely want to leave the bench space open because otherwise Murillo could like play around not knocking something out and not leave you a bench space to be able to use Luminion. So definitely a good call from Pedro there to not bench the Lugia V. I guess that's what Pedro was thinking about. I was like, should I bench the Lugia V to give myself the option of the Lugia V-Star? And the answer is no, because then otherwise Murillo could just like not take a knockout. If you whiff the Chinchino, Murillo could go like Iono, Puncher, or Ursaluna, spread damage to the bench or something, not take a KO. And then Pedro could draw into Ultra Ball or Luminion off the Iono and not be able to use it because the bench is full. So yeah, I just assumed Pedro's hand was dead. I think he was thinking about using Primal Turbo. Oh, that's fair. I guess you could have Primal Turboed first from Pedro there. I guess that's a good question. Should you have Primal Turboed first? That's also another question there. If we Primal Turbo first... Primal Turbo first. What is the reason to not Primal Turbo first? I guess it depends how many energy we have left in our deck. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think Pedro probably should have Primal Turboed first and put 1 energy on the Ursaluna on the bench, I think. Well, maybe not, though, depending on if you draw into an energy. Depends what Pedro had on the bottom of the deck, right? Oh, it also depends, yeah, what got Iono to the bottom of the deck. That is true. True. Yeah, depending on what got Iono to the bottom of the deck, that actually does make a difference. Depends if you need to draw into an energy to attach from hand, or if there was an Iono. You didn't need to attach from hand there, for sure. Yeah, I definitely didn't need to attach from hand. So Pedro plays the one of Carmine as well as the Squawkabilly, trying to play all the outs for just playing more outs to do stuff on turn 1. Which I'm personally a fan of as well, I think. The 1 Carmine plus the Squawkabilly. I'm still not convinced that like Nest Balls are better than Great Balls, but it seems fine. Raikou start here for Pedro. I definitely like the Squawkabilly. It would feel weird to play Squawkabilly without Nest Balls. It feels like you have to commit to the Nest Balls if you're gonna play the Squawkabilly. You could just do Carmine plus Great Balls, I guess, and then cut Squawkabilly. That wouldn't be terrible. Cleffa start here for Murillo. The Raikou start here for Pedro. Raikou start's got to be pretty terrible, to be honest, in this matchup. It kind of just eats up a bench space. Yeah, the Raikou start's got to be pretty awful. The hand there from Pedro looks fine, though. I see Mezagoza. I guess you don't want Mezagoza in your hand this early on. You want to kind of save it as an answer to Temple of Sinnoh. Has Mezagoza, has Capture Aroma. You could, like, yeah, there's Jet in the hand as well. So we could see Pedro. We have Fleet-Footed to work with as well. So Pedro could, like, start with Fleet-Footed, try and get a Pokemon. Because we probably want, like, double Lugia, and then a Read the Wind here from Pedro would be pretty good. And we're pretty well set up for that from Pedro, to be honest. So it's probably what we'll see here. Look for double Lugia plus bench Minchino, Read the Wind. All right. Does Murillo have no energy for turn for Murillo? That's huge. We could see Murillo whiff a turn 2 attack here. Lugia V-Star has been top decked from Pedro. I wonder if Pedro could ever hold this hand now that we top decked that. I think it may be possible. We'll see. I mean, you probably want to play the Carmine. It just, like, comes down to what is found off this Fleet-Footed and how the Aroma and Mezagoza go, maybe. Boss was found now. The hand is getting better and better. The hand is getting better and better. Lining up the Aroma and the Mezagoza now. Aroma comes out first. Heads. We get an Archeops. Like I said, I believe has a Nest Ball in hand. Could jet up the Lugia. I'm trying to be a dick. Why does their setup look so bad? The Euro and US one looks way better when they are on stream. That's because there's this. TPCI runs the streams for Europe and North American events. The streams for the Latin American events come down to if someone wants to volunteer to do it in the community, or if the tournament organizers tries to find someone to run it. But mostly it just comes down to the community basically volunteering to do it. It's TPCI having a whole production crew run a stream versus, I believe this situation is one guy with 2 webcams and a laptop, probably. I think the current situation for this stream is one guy with 2 webcams and a laptop. Definitely a production diff for sure. It's definitely a pretty big difference. Looks like a head from the Mezagoza. Pedro just confirming that the opponent's okay. It looks like the flip landed on, like, the used marker. What kind of camera? Who knows? Who knows what kind of camera? That's what I'm saying. It's just like someone volunteering to, like, do a setup. It's better to have this than nothing, right? It's better to have this than nothing. Yeah, I wasn't laughing at the I wasn't laughing at the person who, like, decided on it. It's great that someone is out there actually just volunteering to run the stream. It's sick, right? Now, would it be cool to see TPCI run major streams for all the Latin American it would be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool. I'm hoping that I don't know if, I forget who brought this up. I'm hoping that TPCI runs does streams for the regionals in Mexico, or at least the one of them is in Mexico City, right? Or where are the regionals in Mexico? There's 2 of them this year, right? I forget exactly where they are, but hopefully at least one of those TPCI brings the full production crew to stream. That would be cool. We'll see though. Hopefully both, and hopefully that leads to at least. There's the jet up on the Lugia here, and then I believe we have that Carmine coming in. Only getting rid of getting rid of double chops to the discard pile. We are looking for another Lugia V here to feel super safe for Pedro. We're just looking for a Lugia V. We'll feel safe if we have another Lugia V. There's an Ultra Ball. There's a Minchino. But what do we have to give up off this Ultra Ball to actually get another Lugia V is the question. Does Pedro risk it? With 0 energy in play from last turn, does Pedro risk it and just go for a Read the Wind? DPCI should do all the production IMO. They got the dough, and it'll be increased viewership and future player in those regions. I mean, it's not got the dough is not like a good reason. That's not a good reason. But I mean, I'm not against them doing it. Got the dough isn't a good reason. Pedro wants to play the Ultra Ball here. It would have to give up a boss though. Boss is pretty good. You can do it again. In Joinville's case, they didn't let the volunteer do it, so we had nothing. Yeah, it seems like, well, the Joinville was ran by Copag, though. The last 2 special events, Latin American special events we've seen, have had streams, but they haven't been run by Copag. So it seems like Copag is not allowing people to volunteer to run a stream for the tournament, which is pretty cringe. And it looks like Pedro with a 1-card hand is going to pass. I believe that 1-card hand is a research, so it's a pretty good 1 card to have here for Pedro. Did not get to a clean Read the Wind, like I'm sure he would have liked. We do see a heads on the Mezagoza for Murillo as well, so they tie it up here. Heads on the Mezagozas. I mean, I'm sure TPCI eventually will start to run streams for these major tournaments in the Latin American region. The only major tournaments in Latin America that have been like blocked from even having a volunteer run a stream have been the Copag ones, which is pretty cringe from Copag. If someone's like volunteering to do a stream, I feel like that should be allowed. Still no energy here for Murillo into the research now, hoping to find some. Getting off an attack this turn seems at this point unlikely from Murillo, so I think it's going to be a Cleffa attack at the end of this one. We'll see though. But we'll see what Copag does for the rest of their tournaments. So we'll see what Copag does for the rest of the tournaments, and then it's possible TPCI. I could see TPCI stepping up and streaming the regionals in Mexico this year for sure. So we'll see what they end up doing around those. But shout out to the community who is always at least volunteering to do these kind of streams to give us something to watch. It's better than nothing, that's for sure. So yeah, shout out to, I don't know exactly who's running this one, but yeah, shout out to the community for stepping up and running the streams, because it was the same thing for whatever the last special event we had, the Lima special event. It was the same thing. It was like someone in the community running the stream or putting a stream set up for us to be able to watch, which is nice. Obviously, I think we would all like to have the TPCI official streams, and I could see TPCI not doing official streams for like these kind of special events that are pretty small. The venues are small, but at least like the regionals, I feel like for Latin American regionals, it'd be nice to see the official streams happening over the next 2 to 3 years coming up. All right, so yeah, Murillo whiffs the turn 2 attack, just has to go with the Cleffa draw. Is exactly what Pedro wanted to see, and the top deck Lugia V-Star is pretty good. The thing here for Pedro, though, Pedro does not have a boss. No boss here for Pedro. KOing Cleffa is pretty cringe, and there's no access to Iron Hands here for Pedro because the bench is full. Pedro's options are limited here. He's thinking about how many Archeops to use before using research here. I would probably just say go ahead and use both. Load up the squad. You do want to put the V-Guard and a non... You want to put V-Guard Gift Mist on the active here. You don't want to put Double Turbo on the active here, because then you can't KO 2 prizers with it. So I see Pedro lining up this Double Turbo energy, but you definitely should not put a Double Turbo on the active here. Yeah, you should not put Double Turbo here from Pedro. This is definitely a mistake. We want to be able to KO Ogre Pawns and Pheasantipides with Lugia later. And we know Lugia is going to be something Murillo is going to be like having to avoid for a little while, or just never KO because it has the V-Guard energy. And then we do want to get some energy on our Rat here. So what I think I would have liked to have seen from Pedro was put V-Guard Mist on the active with 1 Chops. Honestly, I maybe would like to have seen Pedro just load up 4 energy and play research and hope to hit a non-double turbo energy off research, because the chances are just so high that you hit it. You can play the Vitality Band like Yurko. There's no way he plays the Vitality Band. Yeah, I don't like that choice there from Pedro at all, to be honest. The more like, yeah, why would we not? Now we can't KO Ogre Pawns with Lugia. That's so bad. It's so bad to not be able to do that. Limiting ourselves like that, I feel like. We do get the knockout here. We can bump the Jamming Tower. Not that bumping Jamming Tower really matters. We can do it. No one's taking advantage of Jamming Tower in this match. Either Lug goes down to Sinnoh Tina, or he can retreat it off, right? Maybe retreat it and jet it back up. Yeah, but like why? Okay, but like why? We never want. Why would we ever put ourselves in that scenario, right? I feel like he's just playing to load up the other Lugia if he has to. But then that's so much more. Now we need to find like a Lugia V-Star. Why would we ever put ourselves in a scenario where we need that much more? There's no reason. Just get a Lugia, and this Lugia has the V-Guard, right? This Lugia has the V-Guard. So we have the turn 2 Goodra attack again from Murillo. Hasn't used the V-Star yet. Goodra knockout chops. So this is a pretty good spot to be here once again as Murillo. We shut down the Rat attack. We start to reduce the options of Pedro. Cinccino can't one-hit KO the active here. And Lugia, because it has a double turbo energy, can't boss KO Ogerpon, which would be pretty good while we build up our rat on the back line. Would be pretty good to boss KO the Ogerpon this turn while we attach more energy to our rat. Punching the Drago is pretty mid with Lugia. But we could set up for a 3-prize turn with Iron Hands. So Pedro here could go punch active, and then next turn Iron Hands knockout. Wait, no, we can't even do that because we got Gudra attacked. Sheesh. Yeah, it's not a good thing, yeah. The Gudra damage reduction is huge here because we can't even do like the 1-2 punch into Iron Hand. Well, we could punch it with Cinccino. Pedro could go Cinccino punch active really hard, and then Iron Hands it next turn. Could we punch hard enough though? What does Iron Hands do? Iron Hands would have to do like, have to be involved with a double turbo. So Iron Hands would only be doing 100. Iron Hands would be doing 20 damage. And if Murillo attacks with Gudra again, which you probably would, if you're gonna KO the rat, which you're probably gonna KO the rat here as Murillo. Yeah, so pretty big mistake there, I think, from Pedro by putting the double turbo on the active Lugia. I don't know how Pedro should have sequenced it, possibly. I think I would, if I was Pedro in that situation, I think I would have just like loaded up, done double chops research, knowing I'm going to hit an energy that's a non-double turbo, just plays it that's going to happen, and then go from there. Man, the Gudra is really good in this matchup. Like, this lineup here that Murillo was able to get both games now gives him like a solid line to kind of take, to like play towards. Pedro aggressively getting the Ursaluna. The Ursaluna can KO the Ogerpon here if there's a boss in hand, which I can't tell if there is. I don't think there is. It is possible, though. There is a Luminion, but obviously we can't Luminion right here, so. Here comes the load up from Pedro. There's only 19 minutes left. I'm starting to wonder if we're going to have enough time for game 3, depending on how much longer this one drags on. I do worry. I do worry. Let me do that. All right, back. I think he was counting on retreating the Lugia to kill the Drago with the rat, hence the DTE. I mean, it still makes no sense because you know the possibility is there for Murillo to KO your rat or KO your Archeops, right? Yeah, this still makes no sense to do that play there as the Pedro. It doesn't matter because it's really easy for Murillo to KO a rat or KO a Chops on the next turn. Like, it's not hard for Murillo to do either of those plays. It's just punching the active for, yeah, 120. That makes sense. Giving a bunch of energies to bear feels bad. Is this the Rahul list or just normal, but with Raikou? I don't think it plays the basic lightning, but it probably plays the weird here. Okay, it's 2 Minccino, 2 Cinccino, so I guess no Vessel Lightning. Yeah, I think it's 2-2. It looks like 2-2 Rat has Raikou. 2-2 Rat with Raikou. Pedro's probably playing the Raikou for the Terapagos matchup. If you don't get off the hands early in that matchup, then the ability to get off Raikou later is nice to KO the Pidgeot or the... We have to KO the Pidgeot or the other guy. Terapagos with the Raikou later on. So probably just plays the Raikou for the Terapagos matchup. I guess it's also decent against Palkia, but like the real reason to play it is Terapagos. Because Iron Hands can be awkward to set up if Terapagos gets a kill on Archeops or something like that before you get to do anything. Depending on what they kill first. Then you might never get access to your hands. Raikou's just the GOAT. True. Goated Pokemon. Honestly, just Raikou being able to KO Pidgeot is so good, and so if there was just like a, it just doesn't work. It's just not a thing. If there was if there was a special lightning energy that you could play in the deck, Raikou is actually really, really good in the deck. It's just mid because you have to play basic lightning to be able to use hands and Raikou. But if there was a way to consistently enable hands and Raikou, Like, the Rahul build is okay for doing it, but it's not great. You still have yet to use the V-Star here. Murillo just has Kyurem lined up to win the game. I guess the only thing, though, about the Kyurem play, though, here from Murillo is Legacy Energy could get involved and make things awkward, but you still have Temple of Sinnoh as well. I think Murillo can literally just go for Kyurem here. Like, you just go Kyurem, knock out Chinchino, 110 Raikou, 110 Archeops. Wait, did I do my math wrong? No, that doesn't work. Oh, how do we win? There has to be a way to win this, right? Does Goodra knock out Raikou? I mean, this is still a pretty good spot for Murillo, but wait, wasn't there a way for us to win in 2 attacks? Bring up Raikou. Knockout. 2 prize cards. 110. 60. Wait, maybe there's not. Is there not a way to win in 2 attacks? Kyurem. We had 5 prize cards left. What do we KO? Kato Chops? Maybe this is the best play. I guess my question is it better to KO the Raikou or KO the Archeops here, though? Don't think you can get the 5th prize card if he evolves Lug. Yeah, we would never want to like commit to the Kyurem play, putting damage on the Lugia V for sure. That's definitely something we wouldn't want to do. Yeah, I guess actually, honestly, there's no. I thought there for sure was a way for us to win in 2 turns, but there's not. So I don't hate this play from Murillo, but I wonder if it should have been on the Archeops instead, because we can definitely win in 2 turns after this. So I wonder if Murillo should have KO'd the Archeops instead of the Raikou. But I guess the Rat's always clapping back, and we're always getting rat smacked. So this doesn't seem it seems bad for Pedro, but Murillo can kind of just play this straight up and attack through the active. Well, actually, I don't know if that's true, because the Pedro's board can get out of range of Radzard. And we have Legacy still as well. Wait, Pedro might be kind of cooking here, to be honest. Pedro, I think, is still in this. Is that correct? To boss KO the bench Drago, though? You really want to leave Murillo with Legacy Star guaranteed next turn? The option of it? Takes the KO. Why not just KO the active? That's what I'm wondering. Why not just KO the active there? Another Drago comes down. Murillo could set up 3 Regidragos here, to be honest. Here comes the Pheasantipity. Murillo's looking for Temple of Sinnoh now. If you just find Temple of Sinnoh and KO active, it should be game. If you have a backup, if you have Legacy Star and backup Drago to work with. And we're pretty close to having a backup Drago here. Comes an Ultra Ball. Still no Temple of Sinnoh found. Could find another Ogre Pawn or another Dragon Attacker to get the option of. Murillo still can't. Wait, can Murillo win in 2 attacks? No, Murillo can win in 2 attacks, but can we win in 2 attacks where Pedro can't stop us? I guess not. No, we can, right? We could go like Kyurem, Dragapult or something, right? Boss seems fine. Get value from the nuke. Ursa can KO the next one. I guess. It's like 1 less piece taken off. It's 2 less pieces taken off the board, though, right? If Pedro KOs the active, that goes down a V-Star and an energy. But now if you KO the bench V with 2 energy, it's easier for Murillo to get to a second or a third, I guess, Drago here now. I was kind of thinking about Pedro's win condition was to KO back-to-back Dragapults or Regidragos. Oh, but I guess, like, what's the possibility that we KO the next Regidrago? What's the possibility that we KO the next Regidrago if we don't have a Chinchino to work with? If we are assuming our Chinchino always dies here, which I guess is fair. Yeah, maybe bossing the bench one is fine. But it does give a pretty good option for Murillo to have back-to-back Regidragos here. Has the Prime on the Ursa, which is pretty good. We didn't get the Sinnoh this turn, so Prime KO is good. We still have Legacy Star. Like, Murillo's still in a really good spot. Yeah, primes it up. Pawn retreat. Get our 2 prize cards. Was there anything better to KO? Just getting 2 prize cards here seems fine, right? Yeah, and it removes one of the threats as well. And we're looking for Gust KO. You can Lost Zone the 2 grass off the active, I think. No, leave the grass on the pawn. Oh, I do not like this play from Murillo. You definitely get rid of 2 grass off the active here. I think Pedro was making sure how did Murillo get the pawn off the... But there was the extra grass there, yeah. I think Pedro just missed it when he retreated. I think Murillo should Lost Zone 2 off the active here. Like if the active lives, we win because we have a V-star in play. So we have to assume our active dies here as Murillo. So keeping the grass energy on the active makes 0 sense. Or you can Lost Zone the fire as well. Just get rid of 2 energy off the active. Just get rid of 2 energy off the active. I don't care what they are. I don't care which energy we get rid of here. All right. Murillo heard me. Good to see. The earpiece is working. All right, over to Pedro. I mean, you have to attack with something that doesn't give up a prize card here. So you have to attack with Cinchino. Even if you attack with Lugia V-Star, with the V-Guard, Temple of Sinnoh. Well, maybe... No, I think you do attack with Cinchino here. Because you want to force... No, I guess... Cinchino is like the same thing here, right? Because if Murillo finds Sinnoh, it beats both Pokemon. Sinnoh beats Lugia V-Star, it also beats Cinchino. And Pedro is taking way too long. This is going to end in a tie. Pedro's been playing like too slow the last couple turns. Not like slow, like I don't think he needs to get a penalty or anything like that. He's just been taking way too long. Like this is going to end in a tie now. Potentially. Lugia lives Sinnoh Radzard. True, Lugia does live Sinnoh Radzard. So yeah, Lugia is the better attacker here. Yeah, Lugia is the better attacker here. Because yeah, if Sinnoh is found, the active Rat dies. If Sinnoh is found, the active Lugia V-Star can die. But Lugia survives Radzard. Good point, good point. So definitely a mistake here from Pedro. Definitely should attack with the Lugia here. And take the knockout with Lugia. Save the Rat on the bench. Go down to 1. Radzard's in play. Yeah, that would have been fine, yeah. Or Sinnoh Ogerpon. True, Sinnoh Ogerpon also works. Yeah, good points, good points. Yeah, so yeah, attack it with Rat here. The more we talk about it, the worse it gets. Pedro, put the Lugia back in the active. We could still retreat it. Pedro could realize this and then retreat back to Lugia and be like, oh, wait, Lugia is quite a bit better here, isn't it? And then retreat back to Lugia and then attack with Lugia still. Yeah, if you attack with Lugia, Murillo needs Gust or Regidrago V-Star. See a research in the hand there for Pedro. Has a Jet as well and a Boss. He's thinking about like just not playing the Jet, I guess. Goes in with the Chops. I don't even know how many energy are left. There's not many, if any. Goes for a little bit of a load up on this other Lugia. Oh, we could Jet this Lugia up now. No, but this one doesn't have the V-Guard. We want the one with the V-Guard in the active. Pedro could also just hold the hand because it does have Boss in it, I guess. Boss and Jet. There's the knockout. But like we already said, Sinnoh is the difference maker here. So definitely a mistake here from Pedro. Because now Murillo needs less. But immediately pushes up to Drago. I think we just saw the top deck of the Temple. There's the attach. All right, going into game 3, we'll have 8 minutes left. Temple, yeah. Murillo didn't need to use the V-Star power the whole game. Dude, the Gudra is... Gudra does mad work in this matchup. What the heck? Should Gudra just be in Drago? Why is Gudra not in Drago? Well, I know some Drago player... I know Drago players say that they think the matchup is fine with just Sinnoh. So... I've always felt that this matchup is... like, solidly unfavored. Like, Lugia is favored. But the Gudra makes a big difference. Like, watching the Gudra did work in this game here for Murillo. Like, big work. Big time. Overtime. Double time. I wonder if it should it just have always been in there? Have people been cutting it for no reason? I mean, if you think the matchup is truly like 50-50 without Gudra, then I guess you just play it the way it is, but if Lugia's running 4 boss, like 4 boss like is correct, Gudra's bad. I mean, I'm sure Pedro's playing 4 boss, but it mattered in that game, even though Pedro plays 4 boss. It's not that simple. You play 4 boss, but a lot of your draw power comes from your gift energy. If the gifts aren't triggering because Murillo's KOing chops with Gudra attack, like, then you're gonna get put behind. You're gonna put in a situation where Cinccino can't be your like savior or whatever. That's what we'll see in those situations. That's literally what we saw in this situation. Is like Murillo didn't trigger gift energy, Pedro saw less cards, and had to punch through Gudra. The Gudra damage reduction. Also, you can just like stop benching 2-prizers. There's nothing stopping you from just like not putting too many 2-prizers in play depending on the situation. Or Pedro could mess up and put a double turbo on the Lugia. Gudra feels really nice. I was contemplating it with Hawlucha or Gudra. I don't know, it just seems like an unwinnable for Murillo if Gudra doesn't exist. But because Gudra exists, it's like winnable for Murillo. I don't know. It's interesting. But if it, I don't know if it consistently has that big of an impact on the matchup. This is just one match, so. All right, we have 6 minutes left. Pedro is going first. The Cleffa start again. Oh, into the Luminion start. I definitely give Murillo the advantage in starts there. But the hand for Pedro looks decent. I see an Ultra Ball, a Chops, and an S-Ball. I mean, it doesn't get too much better than that, I feel like. I'm not sure what else is in the hand there, though. I can't fully tell. A lot of energy. There's like 3 or 4 energy. Maybe a rat. I think there might be a rat in the hand. Oh, is it Ultra Ball Jack? Oh, it is. Interesting. So is Pedro just gonna chill? Is Pedro just gonna pass and hope for no Iono? That might be the play here from Pedro. Pass, hope for no Iono. Because the hand has double chops turn 2. We got 5 minutes left. Not a lot of time. I feel like there's actually just like, at this point, there's just not enough time for Murillo to ever win. The question would just be, can Pedro win at this point, to be honest? I feel like more so than anything. The chance that Murillo wins this is just not very high. It's super low. Pedro doesn't seem interested in winning. I mean, Pedro's in a pretty good spot. Pedro, I feel like Pedro's pace of play, whenever I watch Pedro play, I think his pace of play does not adjust very much depending on how much time is left ever. Like, he just needs to play faster. Pedro consistently goes into day 2 with tons of ties. Yeah, Pedro, like, one of the things I think holding Pedro's performances back as a player is literally just not playing. Like, sometimes you just need to play fast. I feel like actually a lot of players have that problem where they're not adding like time efficiency for win percentage into the factor of just playing optimally. They're too concerned with playing optimally and not being like, fuck it, I'm going to misplay, but I just need to play as fast as possible because that maximizes my odds of winning versus my odds of playing optimally. Too many good players try to play optimally versus playing to win. There's like a difference between playing to win and playing optimally. Well, yeah, maximizing the percentage of every action being correct versus maximizing your win percentage. It is optimal to maximize your win percentage, but too many good players don't realize that and think just playing optimally maximizes their win percentage, which is just not true for like the current like tournament structure. I think a lot of good players have that problem, myself included. But I don't have it as bad as other players. I still be winning out here, so. So pretty good turn 1 from Murillo still. That's bad. You don't want to put the Pheasantipity in, like imagine if Pedro just like knocks out your active next turn, and you can evolve V-Star. You can go evolve V-Star, and then even if Pedro Gus KOs your Ogre Pawn, oh well, benching the other Ogre Pawn, I still don't really like that. All right, there's a clip. There's so many liabilities on the bench. I don't like this. I don't like the amount of liabilities on this bench right now. There's a lot of liabilities. It's just a lot. There's just a lot of liabilities on the bench. I feel like we could have avoided some of these. I feel like some of these could have been avoided here. All right, there's the Jack. Get rid of double chops. Finds the Lugia. Okay, the pace of play here from Pedro has increased. You know, he's playing a little bit faster here. Still, he's got to cook a little bit harder than this though. The chops are in, and the 2/2/2 is available here for Pedro. Has hands, and then can go Gust with Lugia / Ursaluna moving forward. Catch active, bench hands. And then double chops coming in, load up. I guess you can put a double turbo on the hands there. Seems fine. Is dude submission already reset? No, I'll reset it going into next week because we'll have it on Thursday. Treat, hands, and then knockout. Oh, that's a lot more energy into the hand. How do you look at the deck? He used the V-Star and then look before using chops. That is out of sequence, yeah. I don't think Pedro should have been able to do that. You're right. I don't know if he got caught up in the moment. It wouldn't have affected the outcome of being able to attack with Iron Hands because you could have accelerated one energy to the active Luminian and then accelerated double turbo Legacy to the hands and then attach the hands attack. But yeah, technically, well, no, because he went Jack and then played Ultra Ball. No, technically, yeah, technically he shouldn't have been able to do that. Yeah, I don't know if he was caught up in the moment or what. But yeah, technically that is against the rules. Even if he had been held to having to be using chops there, even if Pedro had been held to be using a chops there, though, he still wouldn't be able to get the Iron Hands attack off. But neither player or judge called it, so I guess we just continue from here. Does Murillo have turn 2? Or wait, not turn 2. Oh, no, this is turn 2. Turn 2, Gudra attack again, KO chops. Oh, it is a Dragapult this time. Less exciting. Actually, Murillo had Sinnoh KO active, but what if Murillo just went Sinnoh knockout active and then knockout Lugia, then knockout Luminian? Murillo could have had the combo there, the 2/2/2 lined up. And Murillo could have had the line there. I feel like this play never gives Murillo a chance to win, right? Murillo literally can't win at this point, I don't think. Murillo has one more turn. We're going into... That was turn 0 for Murillo, so this is turn 1 for Pedro. Pedro can win with Gust, but does need Gust. Weird Ear is not an option. There's not enough energy in play. He could, but since he was turn 0, has to deny chops. Oh, true. Well, looks like the players agreed to tie. Research wouldn't have changed anything. Yeah, no boss. Pedro needed boss there to have a chance to win. I'm going to delete this last prediction because I don't remember. And then we're going to start a new prediction. I think it was Bolt. I went ahead and deleted it. Prediction up for this round, though. It's up. Since Bolt donked, you put it up late. Oh, maybe. And then Jeremy ended up winning the match anyways. Ooh, that would have been a big payoff for some people. We have another Bolt here. Juan opened a Duskull. My guess is going to be that... I actually don't know what Juan is playing. My guess is going to be Terapagos. We know for sure Martin is playing... the Raging Bolt, obviously, at this point. We saw Palkia in hand. Oh, we did? Okay. And the Palkias are showing up here today. Palkias are really showing up today. I wonder if Juan also has the double vacuum or not. I can choose. There's that Raging Bolt. I'm sure this is the piece we're looking for. Ooh, he's giving up on it though. Gonna dig a little bit deeper. Upon with the ability, draw one more card. There's a Pokegear. And it looks like... Oh, there is a Raging Bolt in the hand. Okay. I do, but when I'm using it... All right. Pokestop off the rip here from Juan. Triple hits. Also found the heavy ball early, so if there is anything important prized, we're going to have immediate... It looks like there's a lot of things. There's Ursaluna, Palkia, and Mew. And I think Ursaluna or Palkia will be the grabs here. I mean, it's got to be... I was going to say it's got to be Palkia. Maybe it's not a Palkia in there. No, but I guess the Ursaluna does make sense. As long as you can get Palkia down, you get your attachment, manual attachment to Ursaluna. This is probably the better play, actually. Oh, we have 2 Palkia in hand. Maybe that wasn't a Palkia prized. Or some people do play the 3-2 Palkia line. I have seen that. But what? Attached to the Ursaluna. Oh, people got to attach to Ursaluna turn 1 more. Maybe the hand is just dead, though. But even then, wouldn't you... Maybe you wouldn't. No, bench Ursaluna attached to Ursaluna here was so much better. Yeah, I don't like that play at all there from Juan. Turn 1 attached to Ursaluna is so good in this matchup. Because then if Juan gets the first 2 prize knockout, you can pop Dusknoir and then clap back with Ursaluna. But Juan might not bench enough Pokemon to be able to swing back with Palkia. Or you might not have enough Pokemon to be able to swing back with Palkia. Yeah, you'll probably get there, but... Goes with the Iono instead. Or no, we're always going with Iono. Doesn't bench your Ursaluna. Goes with the Iono as well. Another Duskull in the hand. There's also a Trekking Shoes. Gonna check that first. Goodbye Pokestop. There goes Duskull. I see 1 Vacuum in the hand. The big question is there 2? No Radiant Greninja. Pass back over to Juan. Pass back over to Martin. Yeah, I'm going to call Juan on the left, Martin on the right. We got a Vessel. We can definitely attack this turn and knock out this Duskull, but we'd like to KO that Palkia on the bench that has the energy. Ideally, that's what we want to do, is KO Palkia with energy. We're pretty close. We're not too far away. Vessel on the Radiant Greninja. We see Martin, the way Martin's already tackling this is like trying to avoid putting Pokemon in play. Don't give Palkia an out to being able to use Palkia as a good attacker. Limit that possibility. Vessel away the Radiant Greninja. I don't love the idea of Vesseling away Radiant Greninja because you kind of want to keep it around. Maybe Vessel away Pokestop would have been a little bit better, to be honest, but we see Martin definitely has a better understanding of this matchup than the last Raging Bolt player we saw play this matchup. So we're definitely going to be in for a little bit higher quality of a game on the Raging Bolt side. It looked like that's a Sada, but debating not taking the Sada, that's a little weird. I feel like we're always taking Sada there. Because if Juan can actually not bench... No, we can bench 1 more Pokemon here as Juan. If we want to... As Martin, we can bench 1 more Pokemon. I got to remember to like... Yeah, we can bench 1 more Pokemon here as Martin. Double hit off the stop, and discarding a Grass Energy is not bad. Like, it's like a good one. Into another Trekking Shoes. There's an S-Ball. That can get second Raging Bolt. That's not bad to go second Raging Bolt here. Because with 3 bench Pokemon, Raging Bolt does not die to... There was a roll. It is a heads. Go after the Palkia with the Water Energy here. Oh, was it a Tails? I swear it was a heads. It was a 3? Okay, my bad. All right. Ooh, I don't like that switch card used there though. I think I would have rather seen a hard retreat. Oh, we have boss. Never mind. It's chill. The switch card is fine if we got the boss 2 prize knockout. It's okay. It's okay. I like it. There we go. Knockout on the Palkia, get the first 2 prize knockout, which is the big deal here. Now there is still Squawkabilly on the bench, despite limiting the bench here from Martin, which was really good to see. We did have to use Squawkabilly turn 1 from Martin, so that is still a liability here for Juan to be able to take advantage of potentially. We could see like counter catch a KO Squawkabilly this turn. Now, immediately into the Pokestop. A mistake from Juan on that previous turn was to not bench Ursaluna and attach to Ursaluna. Definitely a big mistake there from Juan on that previous turn. And Ursaluna, we could have matched up Ursaluna into this Raging Bolt this turn by popping a Dusknoir plus attaching to Ursaluna. And then we wouldn't need to use one of our Gust effects, which are like really, really important in this matchup, I feel like, to try and preserve our Gust effects. Also, being able to use Ursaluna multiple times in a game is really, really good. But because Juan didn't attach to Ursaluna before playing the Iono on that last turn, the Ursaluna play isn't available because Martin did get that 2 prize knockout, which means if we had been able to pop a Dusknoir, which we do have access to on the bench already, and we got another energy to our Ursaluna, we could have Ursaluna this turn to KO the active. But now, for Juan to actually get a 2 prize knockout, we have to pop our Dusknoir onto the active, And that is what we're going with here, or get a counter catcher on the Squawkabilly. So this still works, but now we don't have our Dusknoir pop for later to get around another Bravery Charm. So we're using our Dusknoir here to not get around Bravery Charm, which doesn't feel good. Ideally, we want to use our Dusknoirs to get around Bravery Charms, but to be honest, the Ursaluna would be just dead here. We'd be in the same spot. Oh, I guess you're right. I guess the Ursaluna would still just be dead, right? I guess it is like the same thing then. I guess the Ursaluna matters the most when we open like a Palkia. I guess that is fair. They would just KO the Ursaluna from Juan. Juan would just have KO'd Ursaluna. So we would be the same spot. Yeah, I guess, sure. Attach Urs is good when there's one Pulk, probably. Yeah, it's better when there's one Pulk, or we open a 2-prizer, or when we have triple Duskull down. Because then they can go KO Duskull, and then we can go Duskull, Luna. I guess it does matter less in this scenario. But Juan didn't know what he was going to draw into off of the Iono, so we still should have benched the Ursaluna with the energy, because if we had gotten, if Martin had KO'd a Duskull, then we could have gone pop Ursa. So we do get our Palkia knockout here. Using the Dusknoir to, that's the only Dusknoir we'll probably get to use here as Juan as well. We probably won't get to use another Dusknoir. Using it to not get through a Bravery Charm feels bad, but we did have to use it there so we could get the 2-prize knockout, which is fine. Night Stretcher found here from Martin. Honestly, the rest of the hand does not look great, but we're not out of draw power yet. Would a chess clock format where each player has individual time fixed, intentional and unintentional slow play, and remove ties so that we can be on a true Swiss system? Ties make everything funky. No, chess clocks don't work in Pokemon because there's too much interaction from the other player on your turn that you have to wait for. Like if I play Iron Bundle, if I use Iron Bundle and my opponent's thinking about what to send up, whose clock is running? You just run into the same situation where it's like probably your clock is running because it's your Iron Bundle, but then it's like we still have to enforce pace of play on our opponent while they're eating up our clock. Well, such a small amount of time though. You know what? You're right. Lock it in. Chess clocks for everybody. I'm down. Let's get chess clocks involved. We can use them on the phone even. We could do like chess clocks on the phone. All right. Martin still short Asada. And this is actually what happens in this matchup is like when you play, well, the thing is their clock for sure. So we're smacking so many clocks then though. I play Iono, I finish shuffling my hand first. Wait, if I play Iono, whose clock is running? Mine? But what if my opponent takes longer to shuffle their Iono hand? Do I slap my clock as soon as that happens? Probably not, right? You'd have to hit the clock while they are deciding from bundle or shuffling / cutting your deck. So yeah, when my opponent goes to shuffle my deck after I play Super Rod, am I slapping the clock? Once you're done, slap the clock. Iono is just a mess. So I play Super Rod, shuffle my deck, hand it to my opponent, slap my clock. My opponent takes my deck, cuts my deck, slaps their clock. I go, dude, that's so much slapping. It's just getting physical. I'm slapping the judge. All right, we have to go into another Ogerpon here from Martin. And now the board is getting wide. Now our board's getting wide. Lots of options for Juan. But if we get the knockout here, it probably doesn't matter. But we did whiff. Wait, no. That might be a Sada in the hand. Oh, no. We already did Sada. Am I trolling? Oh, we're cooking, actually. We got the knockout. We're chilling. Never mind. I take it back. Down to 1 prize card here for Juan. And this is where we could have gone super wide if we wanted to. Like, put another Raging Bolt down, put the Pheasantipity down, whatever. So the play now over to Juan is going to become... We want to punch the Raging Bolt, but not KO it, ideally, because we don't want to turn on Pheasantipity. And we also want to bump Pokestop. But then we also need to keep Vacuum to get rid of the Bravery Charm. You could also take a knockout here as Juan. You could go like Counter Catcher, KO Squawkabilly, and then Vacuum the Pokestop and knock it out, and then look for some like a Raging Bolt Prime Catcher or Palkia Prime Catcher KO Ogerpon on the next turn as well. That would also work. I'm curious to see what Juan goes for here. We are putting the Prime Catcher back into the deck here, it looks like. The Prime Catcher is in the hand, so you could bring up Squawkabilly or the Ogerpon. That makes me think Juan is going to play for Ursaluna Punch active. Ooh, that's a good question. How many Raging Bolt are gone? There's 3 Raging Bolt gone. Honestly, KOing the active here is pretty good then. Yeah, and just one hit KOing this active Raging Bolt is actually a pretty good play here from Juan. There's the Ursaluna. We are just short the vacuum. Goes into the Dippity for 3. I see Trekking Shoes. There's the Palkia. Oh, wait, Palkia can KO the active here, right? We don't need Ursaluna. Well, we needed the Ursaluna until we found the Palkia V-Star, but finding Palkia V-Star is fine now. We have enough. There's enough on the bench. We should find the vacuum at this point. Yeah, I honestly think just knocking out the active here is pretty good. Because there's no ancient Pokemon in play, and there's no Raging Bolts left. So you have to find, like, Night Stretcher into Sada or something. There's the Pokestop. No hits on the vacuum. Punching the active here is still fine, though. And we are hitting it pretty hard. I guess we're never hitting it hard enough to get out of range of... Oh, we still have concealed cards. Hold up. There's more. We're never hitting the active hard enough to actually get out of range of Switch Cart, right? No? Yes? Maybe? No. So Switch Cart can always reset the... The Switch Cart draw here would be really bad for Juan. That's what Martin's looking for. At the very least, get the Switch Cart to give yourself one more turn. Judge slaps you instead of the DPL. All right, there's the punch. 240 damage. So even if Juan doesn't win this turn, as long as Juan can find Switch Card, or if... Wait, if Martin can find Switch Card, or if Juan can't find... What could Juan not find? If Juan can't find... Into the Pokestop first. Mildasada. There's a Pokegear in the hand as well. Here comes the Pokegear. No hits. There's an Iono. That could still be pretty effective here. If we could Iono into Switch Card. Oh my gosh, we're only getting one card, though. This is not looking good for Martin here. I played a locals with chess clocks once as an experiment, and it was amazing. A lot of clock slapping. Hey, if it is better, I'm down for it. It just seems wrong. It just seems worse. Yeah, if it is better, I am down for it. It just seems worse. But I'm okay with being wrong. But I'm not the one who's trying to prove that chess clocks are better. So the chess clock believers like need to like make a video testing chess clocks and like showing what the gameplay would look like with chess clocks. All right, no Switch Cart. Starts with the Ultra Ball here from Juan. Does Juan have the vacuum? It was in the deck. The vacuum was in the deck earlier, I believe. We didn't burn it. Juan immediately is going into... I guess we do need Gust effects as well here. Because if we get vacuum to vacuum the Bravery Charm off the active, Martin can just push Greninja for a turn. So we do want to we do need more stuff this turn. Oh, so for the Mew draw. Okay, I was super confused there. Wait, why didn't it... No, that makes sense. That makes sense. We got the Prime Catcher. There was the Pokestop. I feel like we should have concealed cards first. Because if we could have gotten items to like burn non-items. No vacuum, but we did find Prime. So we're currently still just short a vacuum here. You just KO the active. Then you turn on Pheasantipity and Pokestop's still in play. You could pass. Passing is like an actual play here from Juan. Doesn't feel good. I feel like if you're going to take a knockout here, you should KO the Raging Bolt. If we're going to take... We should not be playing Prime Catcher here. We should just KO Raging Bolt and save Prime Catcher for next turn to win. We don't want to leave a Raging Bolt in play, because that's the last ancient Pokemon. No. Whoa. Interesting. Pass. Okay. I guess Juan still probably has Counter Catcher left, so we can still go... And this takes away the Switch Cart play. So next turn, Juan can go Counter Catcher, Vacuum. A pretty good Pokestop, though. Retrieval and a Pokegear. I don't know how many Sada are left. Here comes a Retrieval first. Concealed cards and the Ogerpon draws are available. Isn't even considering the concealed... Well, no. Maybe we're not considering concealed cards? The Prime Catcher also might still be available here for Martin. Concealed cards draws more cards. Why would we... That doesn't make any sense, right? Also, we have Vessel in hand here and didn't play it from Martin. There might be no energy left in the deck, but I feel like we should play the Vessel before we use the pawns there. I'm not sure... Is it just pass? Didn't even play the Pokegear. Maybe there's no Usadas left. Pokestop immediately here from Juan. We need to find ourselves Counter Catcher and Vacuum to win this turn. Here comes the concealed cards. There's Vacuum. There's Irida. I assume the Counter Catcher is left if Juan is playing this way. There's the Counter Catcher. Brings up the Squawkabilly, and then we have the Vacuum. Remove the Bravery Charm. And Juan takes game 1. Makes the comeback after being down in the initial game. Or in the initial prize trade. Or I'm gonna run the ads in between games. The main issue is the resources to provide all the clocks, which would be a mess for sure. I don't think so. I don't think that's big of a deal. I actually, like, as someone who's against chess clocks, that's not a good argument against chess clocks. Yeah, as someone who is against chess clocks, a good argument against chess clocks is like the chess clocks. Like, well, one thing we could do is you could just put it on your phone. You could just make an app that could work on someone's phone. So all we theoretically need is the ability to be able to report pairings on your phone and then implement the chess clock on the phone as well. So we just need RK9 to like implement all of that into RK9, and then it could work off the phone, to be honest. And then also on top of that, if some people don't have phones or whatever, or don't have service, just have some chess clocks. But most people can use their stuff off the phone. Yeah, and I'm saying this as someone who's like actively against no reason to force run ads. We're literally getting them in the middle of every game anyways. Well, you're getting them in the middle of them because I'm not running. If I run them in between games, they won't pop up in the middle of the game. That's how they work. But I forget to run them in between games or before the game starts. So that's on me. Our locals in Toronto that use our phone for pairings and win reporting, yet majors don't. I know, it's kind of crazy. Also, that's like over in the TPCI regions, over in Asia, like all the tournaments in Asia report on their phones, report their matches on their phones. It's literally only the TPCI region that doesn't report. Like, every other card game, I think, reports on their phones as well. As far as I know, every other card game reports on their phones. Appreciate the gifted sub there, Victor, over to Trick Roar. Ooh, the Billy had to get used here. Did it though? I feel like Martin could have not. We had a Sada in our hand and a grass in the discard pile. We could have just like accelerated the grass, tried to find a lightning. I don't know if Billy had to get used there. Having played in Asia and Europe, a big problem with reporting on phone is the Wi-Fi connection at convention centers is utter trash in Europe. I know, but you still have like reporting stations where you can just go up and report to the judges, or you just call over a judge and the judge on their phone can do it or something. Like, someone will have service or access to Wi-Fi, right? Someone will have access to the convention center Wi-Fi or something. Like, it's not that big of a deal. There'll also be like a reporting station at the hive, right? You just go up to the hive and be like, hey, with your opponent, and be like, they won, I lost, they won, whatever. I feel like Martin maybe could have chilled with that hand and not billied. Ooh, Juan getting aggressive with the Froakie off the rip here. Greninja is getting involved. It is the bigger Pokemon. It does require 1 more energy to KO. And can have some pretty big plays with the second attack. Whatever the second attack is called. 120, 120. Pretty cool. Double Duskull down. Palkia down. Comes the Iono. Okay, this feels like a situation. Well, we either want second... yeah, Juan needs to get second Palkia or Ursaluna attach here. We need to get one of the two here. Either works. Well, with the threat of Greninja, the possibility of the threat of the Greninja... Well, the draw was pretty bad from Juan. Bad enough that we're actually going to Squawkabilly it all the way. This setup is really bad for Juan, because now we only have Palkia hanging out. It's possible Juan shouldn't have gotten the second Duskull. Maybe should have gone one Duskull and chilled. Oh, we still had Pokestop to use? I didn't even realize that. Juan could have Pokestopped before committing to the Squawkabilly. Because now Juan's in a really bad spot if Martin gets Gust KO Greninja. I guess you can rare Candy Greninja EX or Gust KO Palkia. You can get the Candy Greninja EX punch for 170, but it's not that powerful of a play. It's not even like threatening like a KO if we find Vacuum. So I'm going to purchase a coaching session with you just to attempt to convert you to a chess clock believer. Someone just needs to make a video. Dude, like if you're a chess clock believer, just make an IRL video with chess clocks and show people what the gameplay looks like. Like it's super simple. Pretty good. That's not bad. We're still missing quite a bit here, I feel like, for Martin though. I'm literally telling the chess clock believers how to like prove their point, and just no one has done it yet. All you have to do is make a video with chess clocks with like some top-down gameplay and just show people what it looks like. That's it. Show people what the gameplay looks like with chess clocks. Wild, you guys don't use clocks when practicing? I believe some people do. Martin's debating what to get off the nest ball here. Goes for the ogre pawn. Another vessel coming out. So 2 vessels have been used. Has 2 trek and shoes to work with. The teal dance. Pokestop's been burned. Why do you need a video? It's a pretty simple concept. Well, no, I understand how the chess clocks would work, but to me it sounds tedious and bad. The amount of back and forth you'd have to do with clock slapping. I think we can just give up this ogre pawn. I don't think we need this ogre pawn here, because if you take it and you use it, you're drawing +1 card. If you discard it and draw a card, you're drawing +1 card. Now we have more liabilities in play though, so it's gonna be harder for Martin to limit the possibility of liabilities. I'm talking about like a tournament setting. Just like prove what the gameplay looks like and prove that the gameplay would flow fine is what I'm saying. All right. Still need to find a lightning energy here for Martin. We have the prime catcher in hand though, so we have the KO on the Palkia. Another bravery charm. There's the lightning. And there's the prime. Does Juan ever concede and just go next here? It is still technically winnable, because you could get Candy Greninja to start to put some pressure back on the other side. But you're definitely in a bad spot. Chess clocks could be a day 2 thing. I could see that being okay. I could see that being okay. Just have it only be a day 2 thing. All right, there's the knockout. Yeah, there's no way for... I guess with a Dusknoir use, you could get a KO here actually as Juan. You could go Candy Dusknoir, pop Dusknoir on the active, plus attack with Greninja, bench Palkia knockout. That'd be like the play to build up towards, I guess. You wanna accept Just Trust Me Bros reason? Yeah. Or just like make a video with it, like showing gameplay with chess clocks and see what it looks like, see what the flow of it looks like. Maybe do a little voiceover talking about it all. That's all I'm saying. Like, just even if you've tested it, just like prove that you think it's fine to use chess clocks by showing an example of gameplay. That's it. If I was a chess clock advocate, that's what I would do. I would test it to make sure I actually think it would be good and not feel tedious and like clunky to implement into the Pokemon TCG. And then if I thought it worked, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna make a video with this and then showing this to everyone else in the Pokemon community, and then we go from there. But I'm not a believer of chess clocks, so I put that on I put that on everyone else. And I do feel like if someone went out of their way to kind of like put together a presentation and with gameplay of chess clocks being used with gameplay, and you try to get it in front of the right people, I believe TPCI might look at that and then could make a change based on that, like someone putting together a presentation of chess clocks. We have to press the timer when announcing bundle. Yeah, I guess, yeah. Unless you want to let your opponent eat 10 seconds of your clock deciding what to send up. All right, the Dusknoir's been popped here for Juan. Pheasantipity's getting involved. We're looking for that Candy Greninja still. That's the only reasonable attack this turn. There's an Ultra Ball. There's an Iono. All right, things are coming together a little bit here. Oh, we already have the Candy Greninja. Have the Water Fort as well. We're knocking out the active. And we're Ionoing Martin down to 3 with no Radiant Greninja, no Pheasantipity in play. I actually wonder if maybe Martin should have extended the board this turn. Once we got the first 2 prize knockout and we're ahead, I wouldn't have hated to see like Radiant Greninja come down or Pheasantipity. Once we have this many liabilities on our board already, like I see in Martin's hand here, I think I see a Nest Ball and Trekking Shoes. So we could have tried to draw into some more draw support to have on board for when we do potentially get Iono'd. What if my opponent shuffles my deck on my turn? Is it my clock or his? I mean, from what everyone said in chat, it sounds like it's their clock, so you got to slap the clock. So if I make a whole 20-minute presentation video on this in collab with my local shop, would you commit to watching it and giving feedback? Yeah, sure. All right, there's the knockout. Let's see how well Martin drew off this Iono. Got the retrieval, and we got a couple grass in there, but I think the hand is... Well, hold on. No. We do have this fighting set up on this Raging Bolt here. No, we're chilling. We have boss. At the very least, we can boss KO Pheasantipity off the bench. We're hoping for more this turn. KO active would probably feel a little bit better. But boss KO doesn't feel terrible if we can load up a decent amount of energy in play. Got another retrieval. Retrieval again here. Get another grass. Draw another card. I mean, it really doesn't take long to match your opponent's deck a couple times. It could stay on their time. I agree, but the point of the chess clocks would be to remove the factor of your opponent being able to take too long or purposely take too long with actions. In that sense, it would be slow play, but across the board, just trying to speed up the game of the Pokemon TCG in general. We need to find a Nest Ball there. We could get Pheasantipity involved or Greninja. I think we probably should try and get some more draw power involved here, especially if we're taking a knockout here on the Pheasantipity on the bench. Because otherwise it makes the Quan's plays potentially easier and just going, all right, knockout Iono, you have no draw power on board. Yeah, but those actions are so, people are bringing up are so small in the grand scheme of things. That's the way it seems now, Jesse, but those will become the actions that matter. It's less actions maybe now that you think would matter, but those actions will become the big actions that matter once once chess clocks like theoretically got implemented, right? Then all of a sudden those are the big actions. Like they seem small now, but they'll become the big actions once chess clocks are implemented. It's all about with what we're currently working with, right? If people abuse it, penalize them. But if they take 10 seconds to shuffle your deck, that's not abusing anything, right? You're allowed to do that. Maybe 10 seconds is... No, 10 seconds is like not unreasonable, right? 5 seconds? 7 seconds? Do chess clocks not just make a stall deck unplayable? I don't think so, no. But definitely winnable. I mean, even if you had chess clocks... Oh, actually, how would that work? I guess it would hurt stall decks a lot. Yeah, you're right. Because you have to win 2-0. If you don't win 2-0 and your clock runs out, you lose, right? Even if you're up 1-0 and your clock runs out, do you lose? I guess you would lose, right? If you're up 1-0 and your clock runs out, you lose. Huh. All right, we got the Bravery Charm on the Pheasantipity here. Bravery Charm on the active. We did not get the possibility of KO in the active here with Sada. We do have the boss, though. We could, I mean, with boss and Dippity, I assume here. Get rid of double grass plus lightning or fighting. How would your clocks work when you both are setting up for game 2 and 3? Can you pause a clock? Yeah, it would have to be like a clock pause, I assume. Whoa, Duskull. Everyone for a 2-prize knockout on the next turn? Okay, I guess this makes sense. Well, hold on. What can Juan do to take advantage of this, though? Juan can now attack with Radiant Greninja for turn, but is that a big deal? There's the knockout. This does allow Quan to attack with Radiant Greninja, but I don't know if that matters that much. This lets Quan use a Dusknoir now as well. Comes an Ultra Ball. Yeah, how can Quan take advantage of this the most? Maybe there's no real great way to take advantage of this. Comes a draw 3 off the Dippity. Are committed to just attacking with Palkia here. There goes Ursaluna as well. Vacuums the Bravery Charm now, so we're just taking the knockout here. And then I assume we have an Iono here then. I would hope we have an Iono. I mean, we don't have an Iono. We basically just... Oh, it's just literally knock out the active here. We're giving the Pheasant Dippity draw over to... I feel like this was a pretty bad play from... Was there not a better play from Quan here at all? That play felt pretty mid. That felt pretty bad. That felt like a pretty bad play. All right. It should be... I think it feels like it should be pretty easy for Quan to get the return... Or Martin to get the return knockout here. Yeah, there's Night Stretcher. There's Sada. Yeah, that's game. That's game. We go to game 3 now. Stretcher for... Yeah, was that really the best play? Maybe it was. Maybe there wasn't anything better. I guess there was no Iono, so maybe this was just the best play from... Oh, there was 2 Iono prize. So that definitely hurt the odds. Yeah, there might not have been an Iono. There might have been no Iono access there for Juan there. If there was an Iono, there definitely was better plays to make, but I guess with the lack of Iono, then I guess maybe there wasn't anything else to do. Is your clock reset between games, and after you press the clock, does the time get added to your clock like chess? I don't know. I assume the clock doesn't get reset between games. I assume you'd have 25 minutes for all 3 games on your side. That would be the... Yeah, that would be the out. 25. Oh, I guess it's like theoretically, though, you'd remove +3, right? Or would you keep +3? You probably should remove +3, right? Because then you could be giving someone extra turns. No, there wouldn't be any +3. It would just be... So we should increase it then. It should be more than 25 minutes each. It should be like 30 minutes each, right? 30 minutes each, no +3. Chess clocks is what we should have. Just move it up to like effectively 60 minutes per round. This +3 wouldn't make any sense. Would +3 make sense? No, +3 wouldn't make any sense because when would it trigger? Appreciate the 15 months there, Max Rock. All right, mulligan here from Martin. Juan chose second in the last game. Let's see what Juan chooses here in game 3. 14 minutes left. I think plenty of time. Plenty of time. As long as the players don't... as long as the players play at a reasonable pace, there should be plenty of time for sure. Another mulligan coming in. I mean, first or second at this point is probably going to be a pretty decent start for Juan. I see a Poffin in the hand. Has the Mew, some energy. I guess it is probably... maybe unless there's a Palkia in the active, you're maybe missing a Palkia, but... We should make harsher penalties for slow play before we implement chess clocks. Slow play, DQ, get him out. Well, I think in that... With that statement, though, you're probably confused. Are you confusing slow play with playing slowly? Or are you actually just saying if you play slowly? All right, going first from Quan. We have a Nest Ball, an Ultra Ball, a Poffin, a Water. We have everything. We literally have everything. Here comes the Poffin. Probably just going to grab double Duskull. Just enforce the current rules. Enforcing the current rules more strictly would probably be the first step. And then we eventually get to chess clocks. Gives up to Mew EX here. Going to get some water energy. And then I believe has a Nest Ball in hand, but you might want to conceal cards before we play the Nest Ball. No, he immediately goes into the Nest Ball. We're just going. Grabs a Palkia. No slowing down. We could bench Ursaluna with an energy this turn, so if our Palkia gets chased, we can go into Ursaluna as a response. into the concealed cards. I don't like that nest ball. Well, actually, it depends what else is in the hand. I do not like that nest ball use there from Juan though. Yeah. Well, I guess in this situation though, if we do get, I have to keep going back. Well, no, but if the active gets KO'd, then Ursaluna's like pretty good here. Yeah, the Ursaluna attached, Ursaluna plus attached to Ursaluna is still the better play here. Because if our active gets KO'd, we can go Pop Dust or attack with Ursaluna. Possibly. And if we bench Ursaluna with energy and Martin chases it, that's fine. If Martin doesn't chase it, then we can go Pop Dust or attack with Ursaluna. If the Palkia gets chased instead, I still feel like benching Ursaluna with the energy just gives us way more options on this next turn, depending on what Martin is actually able to do. I'm not a huge fan of playing that Nest Ball before using concealed cards here, because it looks like that was necessary to have around. We do have an Ultra Ball in the hand, though, I guess. Maybe it wasn't like that big of a deal. Oof. Bench and Iono from Martin. So really slow start. Although, as long as Martin doesn't bench too much stuff, which there's really no reason to bench too many things here. Actually, Martin's got a pretty good roaring thing hand. What is it? Roaring something. I wonder if Martin should actually bench the other Ogerpon and then attach the Brave Charms to the two bench Ogerpons here instead of attaching, because we could put a Brave Charm on the active and the bench, but if we don't bench that many Pokemon here, which we're not going to before we go into the roar. Is it called Burst Roar? Then the active is probably just gonna get punched. So we could just let the active get punched and just have it not have a Bravery Charm. I don't even know if I like using the Ogerpon here. Cause now we drew a Sada, and now it's like, well, yeah, because we could like if we draw a good card, I almost feel like we should have just like not done that. Now I think we definitely shouldn't bench the Ogerpon here. If we're gonna, we could have used Catcher there though. Right? Wouldn't Catchering up like a Palkia with no energy have been better? Maybe not. It's like the same thing. Immediately into the switch from Quan. I'm not sure I even like using the switch there, to be honest. I guess it's like fine. I mean, you can go punch active and then Dusknoir it next turn, I guess. I actually don't like the energy attachment there active. I feel like we should have used concealed cards because we're not guaranteed to see a water energy here, and it would have dug us 2 cards deeper into the deck. If we find the V-Star, we just recover the water energy. We do find the V-Star though. I mean, this is like better, but we do see less cards guaranteed by sequencing it this way. So I'm not sure I like that choice from Quan there. So yeah, we can just, this turn from Quan, we just go punch active. Next turn, Dusknoir cleans up the KO. Oh, will it though? 160, 180. Which card? Ooh. Switch card actually gets us out of Dusknoir range here. Hitting Switch card here would be huge for Martin. I guess that makes sense then to go with the Brave Charm active here, because the Switch card actually gets us out of range. Dude, Martin needs to stop benching Ogerpons. Do we not have an energy in our discard pile? Oh, that's like another mistake there from Martin actually through the Burst Roar. Yeah, it's actually another mistake from Martin with the Burst Roar. Is we could have Burst Roared a Lightning Energy to our discard pile, so we could actually use Sada on the other side of the Burst Roar. But now we're here with Martin, and Martin has a Pokegear in hand, but getting Sada doesn't matter because there's no energy in our discard pile. Yeah, using the Grass Ogerpon Accelerate Energy. Actually, accelerating the energy is good to have extra energy in play, but it's better to have a Lightning Energy in our discard pile, probably. There's the Retreat. And then Burst Roar. Here we go again. Okay. Does Juan have an answer to this, though? There's one water in the discard pile. We do need another one, though. Immediately into the Iono. Could have played the Ultra Ball to try and get the second Palkia V-Star, though. We could always just attack with Palkia V here as well. That would be fine. We can choose first. Yeah, honestly, the more I think about it, Martin should have just probably tried to stress getting an energy in the discard pile just to have access. Just so if you just draw into Sada, you can use the Sada. Right, there's the Dusknoir pop on the active. I don't even know if that's actually correct there, though. I feel like that's actually a mistake from... Well, unless we needed it. I don't know if we needed a Hero Swan to actually be able to attack. I feel like if we could have just attacked KO'd active and saved our Dusknoir for later, that would have been better. We'll see. It's like fine. Does it just pass? Okay. Well, I guess we didn't have access to an attack. I feel like if we had access to attack, we would attack here. All right, this doesn't feel unwinnable for Martin now, but we do need to find ourselves a... I see a Raging Bolt in the hand. I don't see a Sada still. We have Pokestop. We have Radiant Greninja. Although we'd want to try and avoid putting Radiant Greninja in play. Into the Pokestop. Just trekking shoes. We're still missing Sada. At least I don't see one in the hand. Lost a switch card there. Found ourselves another Raging Bolt. Got 6 minutes left. Should be plenty of time, I would imagine. Here comes a Radiant Greninja. Not something we want to put into play, but it's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. Billy Vessel is not Sada. Not sure if you guys knew that, but just so you know. We have one more Ogerpon draw coming in, though. Ow. Juan played 2 supporters on turn 2. Wait, really? He didn't? It was discarded by Ultra Ball? I don't think he did. I feel like Juan... Well, has only played Ionos. Has played 2 Ionos, right? He didn't? Yeah, I don't think he did. Never mind, I'm stupid. All right. I think Martin has still whiffed up to this point. We could get Serendipity, but we're trying to avoid liabilities being in play. Bench Raging Bolt. Well, hold up. Oh, retreat to Greninja, right? I thought we were gonna retreat to the... There's the pass. Okay, so Juan could win this turn. Juan could pop double Dusknoir. Juan could go pop double Dusknoir. No, we can't win this turn. We can't get Ursaluna active, actually. Never mind. We don't need to win this turn as well, but I'm also wrong, and we can't win this turn. Wait. Nope, we can't. Punching the active also is pretty mid. Punching the bench would be nice. It's a heavy ball. Serendipity. Wait, what? Wait, do we really want a target that bad that we leave Serendipity on our prize cards? Huh. We could double Dusknoir here as Juan, and we could draw a prize card that way, I guess. We go pop Dusknoir, KO the Radiant Greninja. All right, Radiant Greninja dies. I guess we are drawing a I don't know. That still feels weird. There wasn't another dead card in the hand, so we could have got Serendipity. All right, Raging Bolt is pushed here. Here comes the V-Star. We could pop Dusknoir this turn, theoretically. Here comes Nest Ball. It is a fail. Nice treasure for Dusknoir. Duskull. Okay. We could go punch active. There is still like a line to win here. He's just going for the punch active here. Okay. 200. Is Luna prized? I'm not sure. Honestly, Juan popping the Dusknoir is kind of weird. Couldn't Juan have just knocked out the active? That leaves us in the exact same scenario. Am I trolling? Because then next turn, Juan could go for Dusknoir, right? All right, Pokestop here from Martin. There goes the Sada. We're never playing Asada. Ultra Ball is played on the field. Are you guys talking about the Irida? Luna is in the discard? Okay. Grass, Lightning. We're getting a KO this turn from... I mean, Martin wins in 2 attacks. If Martin can find... How much is on the active? 180? We got 60 HP left. We get 60... If Martin can find Bravery Charm Switch Card, Martin can get this active Raging Bolt out of range. Martin can get this active, can get the active Raging Bolt out of range of Dusknoir. And then... and then Juan doesn't have Juan could go vacuum Dusknoir, but then your vacuum's gone and you can't vacuum off an Ogerpon. The question is, can Martin find Switch Card Bravery Charm? Which is going to be a lot. There's already been like 3 Bravery Charms played or something like that. I still don't know why Juan got Squawkabilly off the heavy ball, because I swear Pheasantipity was prized. You are guaranteed Pheasantipity off the prize cards if you do get Dusknoir or KO the Raging Bolt, but... Got 45 seconds left. All right, here comes the KO, finally. Goodbye, Palkia. So on Juan's turn here, Juan needs to find Dusknoir and Ursaluna. And maybe a vacuum to get rid of one of these Bravery Charms off the Ogerpon. Starts with concealed cards. We're in turns. I see a Night Stretcher in the hand. Pokestop. There's Prime. There's Candy. There's another Night... I mean, that should just be game, right? I feel like that's just game. With the 2 Night Stretchers. There's the Luna. Night Stretcher. There's the Dusknoir. All right. It is a comfy start. Okay. There's a Lightning Energy, so it is Lost Zone with the Town Store. Why do you want Town Store in Lost Zone? It gets Rescue Board and what else? Is there like... Is it the glasses build? Super effective glasses? Sealstone, glasses, Devo. Okay, sure. I see hands. I see Ursaluna. I do see a Pokestop in there as well still. Maybe that was a Monkey Dory. It looked like a Monkey Dory. We're eyeing up the Greninja here first off here. First off here with the Nest Ball. Here first. If the Rescue Board's in the deck, we can use that aggressively here to find that. What Sealstone target is there? Probably plays Raikou. I haven't seen the 4 Sealstone yet, but if there is a 4 Sealstone in there, it's probably for Raikou. Going in with another Nest Ball. Okay, interesting. Nest Ball for Comfy kind of sucks. I'm actually surprised to see double Nest Ball get burned for Comfies here. I think I would have rather seen Marco use concealed cards, use the first Comfy, and see if that leads to another Comfy. Because Nest Balls to find your attackers later on is pretty good. You definitely don't want to burn this last Nest Ball on like a 3rd Comfy, even if you want a 3rd Comfy here, ideally. He's not getting aggressive with the Town Store. And probably doesn't even want to put the Town Store in play until you could potentially back. And there's Double Poffin. Probably doesn't even want to put Town Store in play until... Oh, there's an Iron Valiant All right. So probably plays a future booster capsule. If you have Iron Hands and Iron Valiant, you probably play a future booster capsule as one of your tool cards. You're not trying to give the Town Store over to Miguel, especially if you know they're playing Raging Bolt. Now, whether or not Marco knows that, I'm not sure. That would definitely be a question. We get rid of the Psychic Energy to keep us. It looks like double Psychic was found there. There's a switch card. Switch versus Pokestop. Could use Town Store. Go with the attached trio. I was just say we could use Town Store to get the rescue board here. Boss versus Raikou there. Opts for the Raikou keep. And then pass over to Miguel. All right, can Miguel get off a turn one attack here is the question now. Raging Bolt top deck has access to concealed cards as well as a vessel, so we can definitely use this Sada. Get the 2 energy on the Raging Bolt. Now, moving the active Greninja becomes the problem here, of course. We need to find a switch card for that or the Prime Catcher. Those are that's what we're looking for now. Haven't seen Turtles hit the stream. There was Turtles on the stream earlier. Is Turtles not well positioned in the meta? It's fine. Yeah, Turtles is fine right now. Might be above fine. I just don't know actually how good the Bouffalants are in the deck, to be honest. That's my hang up on the deck right now. But if Bouffalant makes the deck like that much better, then the deck is probably like a good deck right now. Better than a fine deck. Zoning boss feels so bad here. Raikou's not that good of an attacker in the matchup. That's how I feel as well, to be honest. I think Marco's reasoning probably has to do with... well, I have Town Store in my hand. Town Store becomes Force Seal Stone combos with the Raikou, which is like not unreasonable. But yeah, losing your boss against Raging Bolt does not feel great in this matchup, to be honest. Actually, the more I think about it, Marco's probably just never going to put the Town Store in play. Or probably he's going to try and avoid putting the Town Store in play as much as possible. Because we don't want to... Miguel actually plays the Sandy Shocks, and we actually can attack with Sandy Shocks here. As long as we have a fighting energy. You don't want to give that you want to save your vacuums for Bravery Charms. You don't want to put Town Store in play and not vacuum it, so that way Miguel can't just go find Bravery Charms. So you probably don't ever put the Town Store in play here as Marco if you can avoid it. Or depending on how many vacuum Marco plays, you could put it in play and then vacuum it immediately, but still have some vacuums for Bravery Charms. Miguel doesn't have the right energies in the discard pile here. You could go Sada to Sandy Shocks. It's awkward. Oh, you could attach Fighting Active Retreat Sada. Yeah, attach Fighting Active Retreat Sada to the Sandy Shocks. Yeah. No. This is bad. Wait, this is fine. No, this is fine. This is actually fine. But this is like bad sequencing. You don't need to burn the retrieval here. Just attach Fighting Active Retreat, Sada to Sandy Shocks and Raging Bolt, and then recover Grass if you have to with retrieval. But Miguel's like, oh, like it doesn't see the line right here. No. Yo, Miguel is throwing. Right? Am I trolling? I'm not trolling, right? Attach Fighting Active Retreat, Sada to the Sandy Shocks. Yeah, Miguel's throwing here. Doesn't see the line. Did get the switch card, so did get bailed out, but won't have the switch card for later because the healing could still come up to be relevant. So was bailed out despite literally having the play on board. Does get bailed out here. And does get the Sandy Shocks attack, which is honestly seems pretty decent. What is even the play here from Marco as like a response to this? You could go like Radiant Greninja, Punch Greninja, and Sandy Shocks, and then Sableye on the next turn to get a 2 prize, and then go like Bolt, or Luna from there. So we could see that. That seems like fine from Marco here. Attack with Radiant Greninja, hit the Radiant Greninja plus the Sandy Shocks. Next turn, Sableye KO both of them, and then go Luna on Raging Bolt and Ogerpon to win the game from there. We'll see what Marco is able to put together here, though. Gotta start with that. Vacuum or Palpad opts for the extra vacuum. Sandy Shocks needs 3 energy. If you retreat, you only have 2, right? No, you go attach, retreat, Sada for 2, Ogerpon for 1. That's still 3. You get 4 energy and play this turn with the attachment. Field cards. It has a lot of options here. I guess Iron Hands KO the active for 2 also works. If Marco can get to double gate, we could also go for that as well. Definitely trolling. Yeah, definitely trolling there on Miguel's side. Definitely trolling, definitely trolling. Is Shocks or Wing better in Bolt? I think the Wing is still better. But in this situation specifically, the Sandy Shocks is kind of chill. But yeah, I think it is better for sure. I definitely give Wings the advantage. Appreciate the 52 months there, Forerunner. All right, there's the Force Seal Stone for the Colress here from Marco. I feel like we're going in for this hands play here now for sure. Putting this 2-prizer in play does not feel good. Switch and Future Booster Capsules. There is the Future Booster Capsule. And there's 1 gate. We have 1 gate in the hand. Now, we could go for the Greninja play here as Marco as well. We could go for that Radiant Greninja play. Like I said, punch the Sandy Shocks, punch the Radiant Greninja. Next turn, Sableye. But now we have a 2-prizer in play. So I feel like you have to go with Iron Hands now. Or, yeah, you have to go with Iron Hands now as Marco. It has to be Iron Hands now. I don't know. And I don't know if Marco has the out to the Iron Hands play. I'm looking at this hand. I don't see it. At least not yet. I don't know if Marco plays Pheasantipity. We have Nest Ball that could get Pheasantipity, but the problem with that is... yeah, I don't think Marco has a great line here. I do see the Prime Catcher in the hand. Maybe the Prime Catcher can lead to something. I guess we could prime up the Greninja and KO that with Iron Hands, maybe. Fez over benches. Yeah, exactly. If we put Fez down... but now we see Marco eyeing up the Sableye here. So Marco is going for the Radiant Greninja into Sableye play, it looks like. Or is maybe just going to Sableye this turn and KO the... for the Bravery Charm. What do we got? 3, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 now. We have Super Odd Gate. So that does mean we can Radiant Greninja this turn. But if Miguel ever just bosses Raikou, I'm pretty sure the prize trade is just lost at that point. Yeah. If Miguel just bosses... and Miguel doesn't have to boss Raikou this turn. Miguel could go KO Greninja this turn. Then Marco goes into the Sableye. And as long as on that following turn, Miguel has boss Raikou, I don't think Marco can win the prize trade anymore at that point. We'll see, though. Getting to 10 here just doesn't even seem that good, though. Maybe this could work, actually, to get to 10. No. I don't think it does. Yeah, so it is going to be the Greninja play. So Marco is going down that route I was talking about, but it's just not that good. It's like super mid. This play is just like super mid. Because now if Miguel just has Gus Raikou, but like I don't know if you really have a choice here as Marco. This might just be what we have to do. We might just not really have a choice here. I definitely give Marco or Miguel, excuse me, the advantage moving forward here for sure. Like, yeah, this is... if the Raikou ever gets KO'd, it's just over, I feel like. All right, here we go. 90 to Greninja, 90 to the Sandy Shocks. I assume there's no other real play to do here unless I'm tripping. Okay, yeah, there's the 90-90 and pass. All right. Let's see what Miguel can do. Has plenty of cards. Miguel will definitely be attacking this turn, I assume. Yeah, we got Sada in hand, so we're definitely attacking this turn as Miguel. Question is, what else can we do? Also, depending on how many Bravery Charms and Switch cards we could have used this turn as Miguel, we could have got our board out of range of the Sableye 2-prize turn. Right now we're looking at 70 HP remaining, right? Because Sandy Shocks has 120. So 70, so 1 Bravery Charm gets us to 120. So Sableye still KOs. But if we had still had that Switch card that we burned on that last turn in our hand... oh, we could get double Bravery Charm this turn, though, because Town Store's in play. So Miguel could put a Bravery Charm on the Sandy Shocks and the Greninja. Now, Marco does have a Vacuum in hand, so would be able to respond to 1 Bravery Charm. But actually, yeah, if Miguel was able to preserve the Switch card, which Miguel had the ability to do, then Miguel actually would have been able to get the board out of range, and Marco would need double vacuum. So Miguel could have had a switch card in hand right now, and we could have gone Charm, Sandy Shocks, Charm, Radiant Greninja, switch card, Radiant Greninja into Raging Bolt knockout active. And then look for the Gust on a turn or two from now on that Raikou, and then we just kind of win the trade from there. Now, the double Bravely Charm does technically get Miguel out of range for this turn, but we know Marco has a vacuum in the hand. Also, Marco's hand just kind of sucks. Marco has a 3-card hand, and there's not that much going on in it, so does need quite a bit coming up. We also see two Pokemon catchers in hand. I don't think Miguel needs to go for the Raikou KO this turn. Could wait, but I mean, you could just reach for it now, I guess. KO in the active does remove that draw power from Marco, though, so that feels a little bit better. There's 2 Pokestops and a Prime Catcher. You probably don't want to put Pokestop in play here, though, as Miguel here. You probably just want to hold it. What is Marco's active? It is a Radiant Greninja. If I was Miguel here, I would be content with just KO in the active here, to be honest. Because that is draw power. Like, the Radiant Greninja is draw power going into the next turn. No, you got to go for the 2-prize knock. If we're going to play a Gust effect, we should go for the 2-prize knockout here, though. We have to go for the 2-prize knockout here if we're going for a Gust effect. All right, we got the double Bravely Charm play still, though. We can load these up on the Radiant Greninja and on the Sandy Shocks to get out of range of a Sableye play. We do have 2 Pokemon Catcher in hand. Sableye doesn't get KO'd. Oh, does Sandy Shocks not KO Sableye? Oh, no. Wait, does it not? What does Sandy Shocks attack to? Hey, I'm looking look this thing up. Does it actually not? Oh, Raging Bolt is 17% of the meta. Raging Bolt's still the most popular deck by a lot, actually. Raging Bolt 17, Lugia is 11%. Did Miguel commit the attack or no? All right, Miguel can still save this by retreating. It looks like Miguel found out just in time. So I think Miguel hasn't attached yet for turn, so we could go attach active retreat to Raging Bolt knockout. So we could get saved here. What Miguel should have done, if we're going to play a Gust effect, you just KO the Raikou. No, Miguel's using more Gust effects. It's going to be really bad, though, if Miguel burns all these Gust effects and doesn't KO the Raikou, though. Bring up the Raikou, retreat, KO Raikou, please. No! Another Gust effect burned! Are we going to put the Bravely Charm on the active at least? Our board currently isn't out of range. Oh, wait, but if we don't... Wait, hold on. But if we don't KO Greninja, then our board could get Greninja'd again. This is such a bad sequence here from Miguel. Yeah, that's another reason to KO Greninja. If we go Bravely Charm, KO Greninja, we get out of Sableye range, but we don't actually get out of back-to-back Greninja range. So now Marco could just back-to-back Greninja our board. There's a knockout. But Marco can just go Vacuum Sableye, which is probably the play you want to go with. There, we have the Vacuum, we have the Sableye, we have the energy for the Sableye. What? We just give it the energy like that? That's our Sableye attack. Marco was just like, nah, I'll be... 3 Colress prize! All right, no Colress this turn. There's no Colress this turn from Marco. Didn't even use the Town Sword. Does Marco not play Rescue Board? Switch, Super Rod. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, Marco just misplayed there, but why did Marco immediately concealed cards away the Psychic? Because Vacuum plus Comfy got to Sableye, and then we got the switch off the... We do have a Night Treacher in hand. We do have a Night Treacher. Maybe that's why Marco did it. We do have a Night Treacher. And we did have that in hand to start the turn. So maybe Marco was like, it's worth it to concealed cards here to get the play. Okay, okay. So the math is there. Unless Sandy Shocks has more HP than I thought. But this does mean Marco it would be now out of vacuums. Actually, that's not 100% true. Marco could play 3 vacuums. I actually don't know. Yeah, I don't actually know how many vacuums Marco plays. Shox has 120. Okay, so Sableye does KO both these Pokemon here. There we go. Gave up a Super Rod. What? Why are we valuing Iron Hands so highly here? Why would we? What? Why does Marco love Iron Hands? Should be 4-8. 8 active, knock out the active. Go down, draw 2 prize cards. Wait, why not just KO the active? We get another prize card. We have 3 Cold Wish prize. Getting another prize card is pretty good. We go down to 4 prize cards remaining, and then we just go Ursaluna to win. Yes? No? Eight, 4. I'm like rethinking the math. It's got charm. It doesn't matter. If you put it all on the active, it dies. The active dies if you put it all on the active. I don't get this play. This is just a bad play for Marco. You definitely just take the 2 prize cards. And I don't know why Marco kept Iron Hands over Super Rod either. What do we want Iron Hands for here? What does Iron Hands ever give us? What does Iron Hands lead to? These are some really bad plays on Marco's side. It's not good. So yeah, it's a throw party. It's definitely some throwing back and forth. Definitely some bad plays here on both sides. I mean, so Miguel just needs to draw a prize card this turn. It would be nice if you could KO the Raikou, but if you don't, it's like not that big of a deal. Still hasn't used Pokestop yet. Has a Pokemon catcher in hand. Here comes a Nest Ball. Maybe give Pheasantipity some more draw power. Seems fine. You have a ton of liabilities in play. And you're basically out of Bravery Charm, so you can't like limit your bench anymore. We don't know if Raging Ball plays the. We don't know if Raging Ball has the 4th Bravery. I guess we could just like assume they have 4 Bravery Charm. We can like play as if they have 4 Bravery Charm. They should. They have a Pokegear in hand. They can go get themselves a Sada. They haven't played a supporter yet. He's going 1, 2, 3. How? How is he going to 1, 2, 3 the board? Explain to me how it happens. There's a Nest Ball. Yeah, I know what Iron Hands does. Tell me how 1, 2, 3 happens. Just tell me how it happens. Tell me how Marco 1, 2, 3 is his board. Iron Hands can draw extra prize cards with its second attack. You aren't wrong. I know that. Iron Hands the Raging Bolt. So he's going to go Greninja, KO Sandy Shocks, 90 on the bench Raging Bolt into... Do we have enough gates to do that? Okay, there's the concede for Marco. This makes the most sense after Marco's plays, is Marco conceding. Yeah, Marco made some pretty big errors there, some pretty big mistakes. This makes the most sense. Definitely some mistakes, or definitely some big mistakes on Miguel's side as well, though. I think Marco realized, like, wait a second, how do I win this ever? There actually, okay, there was a line, actually. Marco could have gone, next turn could have gone Radiant Greninja, KO the Sandy Shocks, 90 on Raging Bolt, which puts it as 140. And then if Miguel gets Switch Card or 4th Bravery Charm, you lose. But if you don't, then you could go Iron Hands KO that. So you would need all 4 gates. So we'd need a gate to be left. We would need to use all 4 gates as well. But the other line of play is so much easier and so much smoother, which is just... Because both lines of play lose to Bravery Charm on a Raging Ball anyways. So you may as well go down the line of play that needs a way less, which is just back-to-back Ursalunas. All right, I'm curious to see if Marco chooses first or second here. I assume you want to go second. I can't imagine why you'd ever want to go first. You also can like get the early cram hit, which can set up for big plays later on. Miguel is opening a Raging Bolt. And let's see what Marco chose. And yes, Marco chose second. Okay, cool. And the hand here actually does suck for Miguel. It's actually just bad. I don't know if Miguel plays the Iono. There is a Pokegear in the hand. Actually, Miguel probably shouldn't bench the Pheasantipede. If you don't bench Pheasantipede, you could lose. We also just shouldn't play the Pokegear yet. We should play it after we draw for turn. There's a whiff. Yeah, that's a bad Pokegear play. This is actually, I think, a bad play from Miguel because this actually gives Marco access to Prime Catcher. Like, maybe Marco, the way Marco draws to like continue playing the turn, Marco has to go like Prime with Cram and then punch Fez. Like, now you just give this line over to Miguel, or excuse me, over to Marco, or Iron Bundle. Now all of a sudden Marco could go like Iron Bundle, Cram Punch instead. Just if Marco gets 5 energy on an Ursaluna turn 1, just let Marco have the win. This is one of those plays that is a bad play because like you actually give more over to Marco, I think, than not, by playing around just not losing as Miguel here. Like, also you had Bravery Charm. You could have put a Bravery Charm on your active Raging Bolt to play around turn 1 Ursaluna. Yeah, the only thing that benching Pheasantipede here does for Miguel is it plays around Marco getting turn 1 Ursaluna 1-hit KO. But if like Marco gets that, just let Marco win that game. Like, that's like fine. Like, that the chance that it happens is like 0. Like, let Marco have that win and just go to game 3. We see Marco is not messing around. Ooh, that vacuum though. The vacuum's pretty good. I don't think you want to lose the vacuum like that. Gives up a gate and a psychic. Oh, gate and a Sableye, excuse me. Keeps the vacuum in the energy. Yeah, Marco, and this is what I wanted to see like more of. This is what I was talking about earlier when we were like watching Pedro play. Is like, what is that on the bench? Is that another Comfy? Benching the 4th Comfy, I don't know about that, because you don't know if Miguel plays Iono or not. At this point, I don't think. Tomb? Is it? Dude, that thing is so shiny, I cannot see it. Is it Spiritomb? Okay. Spiritomb's okay. I mean, if Miguel benches Luminion... Alright, just draw pass. No turn 1 Cram there from Marco. Back to back. Horus. You see, this is what I was talking about like earlier. No, do not put the... Don't. Why? Just get Cram and punch. Unless you're going to vacuum that Pokestop away. If you're going to vacuum it away, okay. But like, we should definitely just try and... No, we had Cram punch. Oh, Marco's going for the Ursaluna play. Okay. Marco's not messing around. Marco's going to go for the Ursaluna play here. I was like, just Cram punching seems good to me. Marco's got different plans though. Maybe not. Was eyeing it up. Maybe isn't going to go for it. Okay, hold on. Maybe isn't going to go for the Ursaluna play. We'll see. A Cram punch seemed reasonable to me. Maybe the Cram is prized. But giving your opponent the Pokestop access when you know they're dead drawing seems like a mistake for sure here. So I'm assuming... but of course, the Iron Valiant punch. How much does Iron Valiant do? And then at this point, yeah, okay. I thought we like put the Pokestop in play. We're gonna vacuum it away, and that's how we're gonna get to 7. We just got to 7 without it, which is of course fine. We might still vacuum it to take it away from Miguel, but if you're taking a knockout here, I would almost like rather see this vacuum get saved for... Oh, we have another vacuum in hand. I guess burning a vacuum here seems fine. The ability ping, and then it does 220. Okay, so it KOs the Raging Bolt here. All right, all right. Wait, is it not 200 plus 20? Oh, it doesn't KO. Marco's gonna get the punch and then go for the reset. Okay, all right. I guess I don't hate. I guess I still don't hate this. It feels a little scary. I feel like Cram punch would have also been fine. Still a dead draw here for Miguel. Miguel should probably still attach the Bravery Charm active so the active doesn't just get KO'd by the ping from the Iron Valiant. I don't think you want to get KO'd by ping here. See if Miguel plays around the ping. There is the play around the ping, but Marco does have vacuum in hand. And also, Marco does not have... I guess maybe... Wait, can you attack on the next turn? It's 220 with Capsule. True, it is the 220 with Capsule. Did top deck a switch card here? It says you can't attack next turn, right? I believe that's what it says. The Iron Valiant. We might have to burn another gate here. Is going to have to burn another gate here to actually retreat this Comfy. Not using Burst Roar is crazy. I didn't even realize that. You are right, though. Yeah, not using Burst Roar there is crazy. Yes. I didn't even realize that. Vacuum. Goodbye, Bravery Charm. Treat. There's the ability. Knockout, get 2 prize cards. And then we'll get to punch whatever gets sent up here. Return. And then here comes the 200 punch. Oh, had the tool. 220 knockout, going down to 2 prize cards. Okay, it's looking pretty good for Marco at this point. If I was Miguel, would I concede? We got 20 minutes left. I think I would pack it up. I would just pack it up and just go next. Just save all the time possible going into the next game. Just save all the, give yourself extra time to work with so you don't have to feel rushed in game 3, so you can think through your lines with a reasonable amount of time. Think through your lines, take your time. Don't feel rushed. I think I would just pack it up here. Shuffle up for game 3. Take a deep breath. As you've now had to go through the experience of Turbo Marco in this game 2 here. Now, I think it was correct to bench Fez. Iron Valiant KO on the Bolt was possible. Yeah, the Iron Valiant is not something I really thought about. I still don't know if I would have benched the Fez, to be honest. If Marco got turn 1 Iron Valiant KO, I think we're packing it anyways. Like, I still probably wouldn't have benched the Fez and Dippity, to be honest. I still don't think we benched the Fez there. Just to, like, take away the possibility of Iron Bundle or Prime Catcher. If Marco gets turn 1 Iron Valiant 3 energy and tool card, sure, why not? You got it. So we got a nice stretcher here for Miguel. Recover that Ogre Pawn. Still doesn't have enough energy. Iron Valiant has 220, right? So we need to get another Ogre Pawn. Oof. Can we even get the knockout here? We need another pawn plus attach and a pawn and then switch card. So it has to be through. We can't hard retreat the active because we only got 1 off the SADA. It's very reasonable for. I see 2 switch cards left in the deck. Miguel definitely could whiff here. Nest Ball, okay. Next Ogre Pawn is on the way. We have the manual attachment for turn, but it's our last draw. We're drawing 1 card here, and if it doesn't lead to more draw or the switch card, Miguel is whiffing the attack, and the Iron Valiant lives for another turn. Oh, I guess that makes more sense. Yeah, go with the Radiant Greninja. Well, does that make more sense? Because now not only do we need a switch card, we also need an Ogre Pawn. I'm not sure that actually does make sense to get that instead of an Ogre Pawn. Unless the other 2 Ogre Pawn are prized. I'm pretty sure it makes more sense to just get the Ogre Pawn, right? Now we're drawing 2 cards. I guess we're hoping this draws us into more draw power. Like a Pokestop, maybe? We got switch card, but the thing's at 220. We're not taking the knockout. We do have catcher. We could catcher KO the Greninja, I guess. That seems pretty bad. I'd probably switch card into Radiant Greninja and pass if I was Miguel here. I think I'd switch card into Radiant Greninja and pass. And we see on Marco's side, Marco has boss switch. At this point, Marco could just show Miguel boss switch, to be honest. If I was Marco, I'd probably just show my opponent boss switch after Sada got played. Just be like, well, I guess that's not true because Bravery Charms could be a factor still. Yeah. Maybe not, though. Maybe not. So the cards and go next. I mean, I guess you need triple Bravery Charm here from Miguel. You would need 1 on the Raging Bolt, 1 on the Festivity, 1 on the Ogre Pawn. So maybe you could just show Miguel switch boss here, to be honest. The chance of triple Bravery Charm is so low. Trying to conserve time. 19 minutes is still a lot of time for this matchup, for like 1 game in this match. But still, at some point, it becomes like, you don't want to have to turbo Marco game 3 if you don't have to. Because then you might make a mistake, right? So Marco's not trying to play as fast as he did in this game, in the next game, if you can avoid it. And Miguel does not seem like he's pressed for time. He seems like he's not pressed for time at all. He's not worrying about time the way Marco is. So I'm not saying Miguel is slow playing, but Marco showing that he's got the win. Miguel agrees and concedes. All right, 18 minutes going into game 3. Yeah, at a certain point, Marco was like, the chance every time you play a card, the chance that you have 3 Bravery Charm in that hand gets lower and lower. So at some point, I'm just gonna pull the trigger and show you my switch boss that you have, and that you have no win condition here. And there were 0 Bravery Charms in Miguel's hand. So, all right, here we go. Game 3. Definitely a favorable matchup for Marco. Also, having like the Iron Valiant is honestly like a pretty solid extra attacker to kind of have before Ursaluna. It gives you something to that you can be more aggressive with for like less resources, which is kind of nice. 17 minutes should be fine here though. Let's see if what Miguel chooses. That's what I meant to say. First or second for Miguel. I think you got to go second here. And you wouldn't be fully rewarded for it, but I think you still just got to go second. Let's see what Miguel opts for. The hand from Miguel is pretty mid. It does have Luminion, but I don't think it has a... Yep, Miguel chooses second. Okay. If there's an Iono in the deck, though, if Miguel plays Iono, we could get Iono and then still attack with the Sandy Shocks here. Lopez can call a judge for that action from Marco. What action from Marco? Showing the hand? No. Oh, we could see Marco get the Spiritomb, though. I mean, it looks like Marco's going to first initially line up, double Comfy, but Marco could grab Spiritomb and just throw it down and be like, well... And I think, does Marco know about the Luminion for sure at this point? I actually don't know. But Marco aggressively played Spiritomb in the last game, so... I imagine either knows or... like, not doesn't know, but like has thought about it. As long as it's not prize, we might see Marco aggressively go for the Spiritomb, which completely locks up Miguel's hand. Comfy and something. I couldn't tell what the other card was. Attach Retreat, Comfy number 2. That's Radiant Greninja and Palpad. Gotta get rid of the Palpad there. Radiant Greninja is too important. Radiant Greninja for 2. Water. There's a switch card. Comfy number 3. Colress and switch card's gotta be the Colress. And it's gonna be a pass from there. Pretty good hand for the next turn from Marco. Top deck Ultra Ball from Miguel is also really, really good, though. You can Ultra Ball by double Lightning Energy. Go get yourself a Raging Bolt and then Luminion 4. Putting Luminion in play is pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. It is worth 3 prize cards like an Iron Hands. I don't know if you go Tomb here just raw. Hard to know. Well, Marco did it last game, though. That's the thing that we're kind of going off of here. So Marco put Spiritomb in play last game just raw. Just like threw it out there. So you said Iron Hands doesn't get you 3 prizes, though? We should probably get rid of double Lightning Energy here. I don't know why Miguel is discarding only 1 Lightning there. That makes no sense. We can attack with the active here if we just get a Fighting. If we put the Lightning in the discard pile, you can Sada to the Raging Bolt and the Sandy Shocks. I don't know what Miguel is cooking with this. This is definitely just bad, though. Miguel playing too slow. That's why we had to see Turbo Marco last game. Marco has slowed down a little bit as we've seen going into this game because Marco's like, all right, I think I have plenty of time. Let me take my time a little bit more, think through things. Ultra Ball for Squawk? No, just Ultra Ball for Raging Bolt. Or maybe it is going to be an Ultra Ball for Squawk. I don't think so. I think Ultra Ball for Raging Bolt, Luminion for Sada is fine here, though. But you should have discarded both Lightning Energy. Not discarding both Lightning Energy is really bad here from Miguel. We'll see if the punish comes through. Goes for the Squawkabilly in the end? Why, though? We need to find so much off the Squawkabilly. We need to find... Why is the Squawkabilly is just not better than just going for the Sada play? Because off the Squawkabilly, we need to find Sada and Raging Bolt. But if we just play the Sada, all we need to find is Fighting Energy. And we could still Squawkabilly. I mean, it'd be really bad to have Luminion and Squawkabilly in play. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but we can still... You could do that afterwards. This feels bad. This feels bad. Dude, I'm going to lose it if Miguel puts Luminion in play here. There's no way. What would you ever Luminion for? Surely they can afford a better camera? This is just like someone volunteering to run the stream in the community. It's like not... This is not like anything official being put on by the tournament organizer. Although, honestly, I kind of want to get in contact... What is the next special event in Latin America? I kind of want to try and get in contact with the tournament organizers And like I would fly down there like on my own budget and buy a setup and then stream it. Colombia? Bogota? I gotta figure out who the TOs are. Yeah, honestly, I would fly down there on my own budget and I would stream this thing. Maybe Chip would want to get involved. I'd just buy a setup and do it. Should Miguel be DQ'd for slow playing? No. Actually, you know what? We should go further. Prison. Miguel should go to prison. You don't just escalate to DQ. First it's a warning, then it's a double prize penalty, then it's a match loss, then a game loss, then a DQ. Or if you think it's truly horrendous, you could go to a DQ sooner than that, but... Slow play, believe it or not, jail. Believe it or not, if you slow play in a PokemonTCG tournament, you go to jail. You should be warned. Is Miguel really playing that slow, though? I don't know if Miguel is actually playing that slow. Like, is Miguel playing... All right, Miguel's playing decently slow. But is it, like... Is it too slow? I actually don't know. And now we see this draw from Miguel is just super mid. Oh, wait, we have a Sada. We can Sada to the active, so we're not done yet from here from Miguel. The draw is super mid, though. Slow play, too slow, but don't think it's malicious. Yeah, this could be too slow, to be honest. It's definitely not, I don't think it's malicious either. I don't think Miguel is, slow playing. However, I think, yeah, you might be right. Miguel might be playing too slowly here, for sure. It's taking way too long to play the game. Dude, get some cards out there. Do something. Anything. We're going to see Turbo Marco is going to be activated again going into this next turn for sure. After seeing that turn from Miguel, Turbo Marco's got to be activated. The switch has been flipped on. Would you commentate for Pokemon if I were to position? Yeah, probably. All right, rev up your engines, folks. Here we go. Probably go to Spiritomb and 4 Sealstone there, I think, at this point. 4 Sealstone seems pretty mid to keep. Ooh, gets rid of the Pokemon. Keeps the 4 Sealstone. Marco loves that 4 Sealstone. What the heck? I don't know what's prized. Gives us the heavy ball, though. Sealed cards. So what is even the play here from Marco? Cram Punch active seems fine, if we can find Cram Punch active. There's the Iron Valiant. Ooh, it's a debate. Are we going for the Iron Valiant play or not? What does Marco think? Gives up the Iron Valiant, keeps the Nest Ball. I assume that means we're settling for just like a Cram Punch here or something. Which to me seems reasonable. Just punching with Cram here seems fine. Just put some damage in play. Marco's thinking bigger things, though. Going for the Iron Hands. We could Prime Catcher KO Squawk for 3. Wait, have we played a supporter yet here as Marco? Does Marco have Boss? Boss KO Squawk ability with Iron Hands for 3? That's pretty good. If we get to keep our Prime Catcher? Equal wrist? Oh. Oh, we have Hands KO the active for 2. Okay, sure. I get it now. I get it now. We're going to vacuum the Bravery Charm. That's still reasonable, I guess. It does leave the Raikou in play, which I don't like. Raikou being in play is pretty bad. Because then it doesn't allow us to slow the game down. One thing cool about this matchup for Lost Box is if you get the first 2 prize knockout, then you can have a turn in the middle of the game where you don't take a 2 prize knockout. But now Marco kind of has to play at full speed and like has to match every return knockout. No, you can still catch one more turn at the end of the game, actually. No. Yeah. No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't. Miguel goes knockout for 2. No, I guess you could. Marco could, like this turn, Marco could go Sableye or Squawkabilly for 12. And then Miguel could go KO your Raikou. And then Marco could go KO your Squawkabilly with another Sableye for 12. And then Ursaluna. So Marco can still catch a turn off of having to go Luna. But Marco can also just go Luna and win from here as well. All right, back over to Miguel. Punch with Raikou, then Cram. Yeah, or something like that could work still as well. Punch with Raikou, then Cram. Punch with Raikou, then Sableye. Something like that works. Or Sableye's Lost Zone, I guess. I guess Sableye's not an option anymore. All right, Pokestop from Miguel. Couple items. Definitely can KO the active here, I would assume. Does have one Bravery Charm in hand, which is like going to be the big cards moving forward potentially. Also owning the charm is jail time. Pack it up, they're done. He's checking discard way too much. Miguel probably needs to get a warning. I'm not gonna lie. Miguel probably needs to receive a warning at this point. Marco needs some like some refueling or something to be able to continue to go turbo into this next turn. Covering the Sandy Shocks. I guess that is pretty good here. It doesn't KO the Iron Hands, but on the follow-up, it could be a pretty good attacker. Oh my god, I'll put the fries in the bag. What is it? Where does the fries in the bag meme come from? Where does that meme come from? What is the origin of the meme? All right, we need to put the Bravery Charm on the active, otherwise the Ursaluna can get the KO. We have to Bravery Charm the active here as Miguel. Otherwise we're gonna lose. We're definitely gonna lose to Luna. All right, there we go. We're not trying to get Luna'd. Now, Marco does have a vacuum left, at least one vacuum left. There's a Pal Pad, recover at least a Sada. Gotta get rid of what, 5? 4, my bad. Math. 2, 3, 4. All right, there's the knockout. Marco. All right, Marco's ready to go. We're cooking. Marco does play the Manaphy. Does Marco not play Rescue Board? How are you going to play Town Store but not Rescue Board? Ooh, the triple hit off the Pokestop to get things going. What is Marco's plan this turn? I'm going to start with some Comfies and some concealed cards. A lot of switch cards in the hand here. Comfy number 2. Rod and Nest Ball. Comfy number 3. Ursaluna's in the hand. Vacuum and Gates. Ooh, that might be a tough choice here. Those are the 2 cards you want. You want both. You want Vacuum and Gate. That leads to the KO on the active. Now what do you do here as Marco? You could go for the Raikou into Cram Punch still. That could still be the play here. You could go Punch with Raikou, or yeah, you can't use Sableye. You can't use Sableye. And if you attack with Raikou here, it kind of forces... Or going with the Radiant Greninja. So we're going to hit the active. Okay, I don't hate this. You can punch the active. You can punch the active and punch the Squawkabilly. Okay, okay. And it breaks the Bravery Charm and then sets up the Squawkabilly to die. Now the question is, how much healing can Miguel get to that, the Squawkabilly this turn? Because if Miguel can heal the Squawkabilly and KO the Raging Bolt, that's going to be tough. If Miguel can get, like, Bravery Charm Switch Cart. Ooh, and Marco did just give over the... Hold up. Did Marco throw at that town store? Marco maybe threw at that town store, because if you put a Bravery Charm on the Squawkabilly, it's out of cram range. Oh, no. Well, Marco can still win with just back-to-back Ursalunas, though, depending on what Miguel KOs. If Miguel doesn't get Gus KO Raikou here... if Miguel gets Gus KO Raikou here, this seems tough, actually, for Marco. But if Miguel can't Gus KO Raikou... Well, it has the Prime. We have the Prime in hand. Not off Sableye, though. Sableye's in the loss zone. We lost zone. Wait, did we lost on Sableye this game? Or was that last game? I actually don't remember. Last game? Okay. We might still have Sableye. So it comes down to, can Miguel find Bravery Charm switch card? But I feel like giving the guarantee of one of those over is incorrect, right? I feel like Marco giving Miguel the guarantee of Bravery Charm, but reducing the odds of switch card being found is an incorrect play there from Marco. We're going to the concealed cards. Honestly, it almost feels like you want 3 vacuum for this matchup now. And Marco could be playing 3 vacuum, but probably only plays the 2. Do you think Maraudon will be popular when Surging Sparks is legal? I don't know. The deck definitely got better, but... I don't think play speed matters now because Marco can win in turns. It still matters a little bit because, like, if Marco has to, like, go for, like, a stall play of, like, Roxanne pass, then that could be a difference between winning or losing, right? So it still makes a difference. All right, the Sada's coming in. Like I said, the play here for Miguel is Bravery Charm the Squawkabilly. And they got the switch card. That's it. That gets the Squawkabilly out of range. So if Miguel just Bravery Charms the Squawkabilly, Prime Catchers the Raikou, Bravery Charm the Squawkabilly, Prime Catcher the Raikou, and then switch card the Squawkabilly back into the Raging Bolts, then you just win as Miguel here. Does Miguel just see the play? Miguel just has to see the play now. Miguel should be warned last game. Now it's too late. Well, if they get a warning, they could get a time extension. No, this isn't going for the play. This is a huge throw from Miguel and got the head, so isn't even going to consider the Prime Catcher. Oh my gosh, this is a massive throw from Miguel. Miguel had the Bravery Charm switch card. Miguel literally had the play to protect the Squawkabilly. It doesn't even, not even putting it on the Billy. Graham can't kill Billy if you put it on the Billy, but Sableye can. You focus on playing slow. Dude, Miguel is definitely not purposely, it's definitely not malicious. Miguel is playing super slow and needs to play faster, but it's definitely not malicious. It's definitely not malicious. All right, back over to Turbo Marco. We got the Sableye. Sableye's into play. We got the Psychic Energy in the deck. Could go for that now, or you could just goes into the gate immediately. Oh, we have a switch card in hand. That makes sense. Okay, and then we can hit him with the Roxanne. All right, back over to the other side. We got Turbo Marco on the other side. Here we go. Homie number 1 being used. We need to keep the Ursaluna, and that's about it. We don't want to put any other 2 prizes in play, though. Oh, it's a tough, another tough choice for Marco. Oh no! What is the wait? What is the choice? Prime versus what? Super? What? That's not a choice. That's a take the Prime. Marco trolling. All right, Sableye's in the active. Here comes the Rox. Maybe we have game in hand. Here comes the Roxanne. All right. Marco was like super out of Prime Catcher. Prime Catcher! We do have boss left, so it wasn't like a... No, Prime Catcher. What are we talking about? All right, Miguel has given Marco the opportunity. Here comes the 6th draw. The whole squad's back. Let's get it. Off and fail on the POF. And then boom, KO the Squawkabilly. Leave the bench space open just in case. Get Super Rod Lightning off the prize cards. All right, over to Miguel. Miguel had the play, man. Miguel had the play. All right, turn 1 or turn 2, actually. Turn 2. Wait, it was turn 0 on Miguel's turn? Holy. All right, the question is, does Miguel play Iono? Because that's the only thing that can save Miguel at this point is an Iono play. Because Marco literally has game in hand. That's a Sada. Even if Miguel had the play, Marco could have just made it a tie, right? Yes. I don't think Marco would have played for a tie, though. I think Marco would have gone knockout with Ursaluna. I think Marco would have gone like knockout with Ursaluna plus Roxanne and played for the win still. Which you probably do lose there, but would have played for the win. I don't think Marco... they may have an agreement, too. They could have a gentleman's agreement. That is true. That is true. But for how many ties I've seen in these tournaments, I don't think anyone's making gentleman's agreements, to be honest. I think gentlemen's agreements are a myth. Dude, gentlemen's agreements are a myth created by people who hate ties in the Pokemon TCG. They're like, oh my gosh, so many people have to create these gentlemen's agreements. What if we just got rid of ties? Then we wouldn't need all these gentlemen's agreements. The play in the game is so awful right now. You go into round 1 and you're making these gentlemen's agreements. But if we don't have ties, you don't need gentlemen's agreements. I think gentlemen's agreements are a myth. Grant, how many gentlemen's agreements have you made besides like winning in scenarios? Because you've been to quite a few events at this point, or a couple. We've been to 3 or 4. How many gentlemen's agreements have you actually made, Grant? Yeah, gentlemen's agreements is literally just something invented by people who want to get rid of ties in the Pokemon TCG. They just aren't real. No one's actually making gentlemen's agreements out here. This season, I don't know, a couple. But like early, like round like 3, day 1, or no? Caleb the only one. How would an agreement like this work? If like, I mean, they could do it based on prize cards or based on board state. It just depends on what the players agree to. I don't do them early. Oh, interesting. I would run like the way I'm going to tackle gentlemen's agreements in the current tournament structure is I'm going to run a tournament simulator on Limitless, and then that'll tell me if a tie is worth anything. But it really depends on, the, you just make an action. It really depends on what Limitless says. Whatever Limitless tells me, I will either choose to value a tie higher or lower. Dude, what is Miguel cooking is the question. Ursaluna knockout. We see Marco go to day 2 with the loss. All right, it's cool to see Marco in the day 2 for sure. Definitely a very good player and playing a cool deck, right? Playing a cool deck. So I hope we see Marco in top 8 as well. That's gonna do it though for the final round here. All right, chat. I'm gonna